to do something stupid. When anyone says more teams need access to the tournament, every team has the same access to the tournament now. And every team is in the tournament already. All you have to do is win your conference tournament. You're already in the tournament. And what are we going to do now? We're going to go to 96 and we're going to print the bracket out first on legal paper, then on a roll of toilet paper and just roll it out. It doesn't make any sense.
Jay Bilas, a guardian of college basketball, college sports.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
I'm surprised he went with toilet paper. Why didn't he do the CVS receipt?
Oh, no. I thought he was going to do a roll of parchment like,
yeah.
you know, for those. You're a big Harry Potter fan. No, you're not. But, yeah, I thought a little roll of parchment. Do it like they used to do in the old days. I am Adam Gold, or a reasonable facsimile thereof.
Yeah, a partial version.
Gosh, I think last night took a toll on me.
You just got real excited for a Canes win.
Maybe. I don't. Yes, I mean it was a great win. We're going to talk about it a little bit here, but I thought it was a really good win for Carolina last night. But there was a lot of there's a lot of stuff to get to. But just let me quickly comment on that because it's going to happen, right? I just read a very, first of all, I'm Adam Gold. That's Victoria. Let me get some of the housekeeping out, which I never do a good enough job at. Everything that appears on this program, if it's worth anything, which is we hope a lot, ends up on the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast. Also, you can go to YouTube and actually see me talk about a lot of these things.
We're live right now.
Are we really?
We are. We're testing things out so you can see us live.
Oh, great. Soft open, I hope, right?
Yeah. Well, that's why you're talking soft, because it's soft open.
Right. I'll dress better next time.
It's okay.
But so you could always find the stuff there. You can follow me on Twitter at @agoldfan. You can follow Victoria on Twitter at V underscore the
number two underscore. It's V to the Victoria.
V to
with
the Victoria
underscores in there.
Everywhere.
That's me.
If you're not sure, just put an underscore.
Yes, that's the perfect way to do it.
So,
who's that chick in the octagon? That's me.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever been in the octagon?
Yeah, that's the picture is me in the octagon when they were here in Charlotte.
No, okay. No, have you
fighting?
fought? Have you
fought? No, I have not had. No, I have not fought in the octagon. No, yet. Maybe that'll be on YouTube. Maybe I can do that on YouTube.
There would be like 5 million views of that.
I know.
5 million views of that.
Yes.
So that's where you can find all this stuff. So you don't, these, like a lot of the interviews or other pieces of the show, they live in perpetuity on the internets. So, but let me just quickly comment about what Jay Bilas had to say, because I read a piece in the San Jose Mercury Times by a writer named John Wilner, who used to write for the Associated Press and now covers Bay Area college sports for that paper, and he's like the Pac-12, now the Pac-2 whisperer. And there was just an interesting piece that he wrote about what is the future of college football, and it kind of dovetails into what Jay Bilas was talking about there, which is they're going to screw everything up, and it's the overall impact for us will not be that great. I want to make sure that everybody knows I am not talking about the death of college football. I am not talking about the death of college basketball, right? They're going to expand the NCAA tournament to 96 teams. There's no doubt about it. They're going to do it. Why? Because they think it will get them more money. They don't care that it's unnecessary. They think it will get them more money. We sit here and we argue, and I'm as guilty of this as anything. We got to fill out a 68-team field. And I'm not even going to hide bias. I am biased towards the Atlantic Coast Conference. There's no doubt about it. I want the ACC to do well. I want the ACC to be included more. But I would hope anyway that I would have built credibility over the years where you people understand that I'm trying to be objectively honest. And I don't want teams in the field that don't belong in the field. I feel like the Atlantic Coast Conference has 5 teams that definitely belong, even though one tried to screw it up last night. And there are others that are probably as deserving as some others that, because of the way these things are figured out, need to do more work. And one of those teams lost last night, too, on the road. But what my overall point is that we're going to expand the NCAA tournament to the point where there's going to be 30 teams in that have no business playing for a national championship. And if you're in the field, you're playing for a national championship. I mean, we could find dozens of examples of teams that, I mean, barely got in to a 68-team field that ended up in the Final Four, VCU. They were in the first 4. They didn't win their conference championship to get in the tournament. They were handed an at-large bid and got to the Final Four. Syracuse got to the Final Four as what, a 12 seed? I mean, again, they did not get to the 12 seed because they won the ACC. They were handed an at-large bid and got to the Final Four. So I'm not saying that they belonged or not. I'm just saying if you get in, you are competing for the national championship, no matter who you are. What Loyola of Chicago, right? They got to the Final Four. Butler, 2 years in a row. Now, Butler was a pretty good basketball team, but there ain't nobody that saw Butler coming. But they're going to expand because they believe it makes them more money. And the article I read yesterday is all about the SEC and the Big Ten just pretending to care, but only doing so through their own gluttony and dominance. We have more money than you, therefore we're going to keep swallowing up big brands, and that's part of big business. It's not college sports anymore. It is essentially two, mammoth corporations swallowing up the competition. That's what it is. I mean, you look at the best schools, the best brands of both leagues right now, and they're not, there's some of them are original members, but mostly it's acquisitions. That's all it is. So right now, if you looked at the best brands of the Big Ten, like Southern Cal is part of that. You know, it's Michigan or Ohio State, yeah. Penn State, they're a big brand, but they're a second-tier big brand. Southern Cal was big time. Oregon is kind of nouveau riche. You know, they made their money in the internet craze.
Yes.
Right? It's not old money, but it's very much new money, and they're a brand. And, you know, the SEC bought most of the Big 12. Right? It's basically what it is. And when Florida State and Clemson leave, because that's going to happen, because ultimately what these two leagues want to do is swallow the entire college football playoff. I watched and read Andy Staples, friend of the program, Dan Wetzel, friend of the program. Staples is from On3, does a daily show, also writes all the time. Dan Wetzel, he has his own college football podcast, and he's been on the show. We talk about the issues that face college sports all the time. So they just basically devised a 16-team playoff without automatic qualifying spots, which I agree, if we're going to have a playoff, we shouldn't guarantee anybody a spot. Nobody. And ultimately, the argument is how many automatic spots should those two leagues get out of the 16? And the minimum number is going to end up being 3. Automatically, we're setting aside spots for the leagues that are swallowing up all the best brands in college football. Automatically. It is the grossest thing ever. But this is where we're headed. So, I mean, there's nothing anybody can do to stop this, because the people that are running it don't give a damn about the entirety of the sport. They only care about their own little corner of the world, which is half of it in the SEC's and the Big Ten's eyes. That's it. They don't care. So if your favorite school, be it North Carolina or NC State or wherever, if your favorite school isn't part of these two clubs, sorry, out of luck. All right, I ranted for a long time when I don't really have much of a voice.
It's okay.
That's right.
It happens. Sometimes it happens in, awkward times.
We're going to talk to other people here. We're going to talk a little bit about State's loss. That was a bad loss.
Bad.
For a number of reasons that we'll get to with Alec Lower of Trinity Road Times here in a couple of minutes. And we're going to talk about the Panthers, who, we had Dan Morgan and Dave Canales talking at the scouting combine last night or yesterday afternoon. Actually, we played a little bit of Dave Canales here on the show. There were a couple of things that jumped out, right? Yeah, absolutely. So we'll talk to that. Darren Gantz out there, Panthers.com. So we'll get his take of we got boots on the ground in Indianapolis. Chip Patterson's going to join us later. We got a lot of stuff. And Mike Maniscalco is going to join us. So with our yes.
I just thought about this. We brought up Mike yesterday about the hot dog debate.
He did.
You know what today should happen.
Look at that. No, we're not going to have a hot dog debate. I can't do
Is it a sandwich? Is it not a sandwich?
He doesn't want to have the debate.
Mike does not like that.
He doesn't. Come on, Mike. Anyway, we'll talk Canes a little bit later on. And that's actually in our brief getting started. That's where we're going to start. All right, because it was, I think, a very significant win last night. Canes beat the Wild 3-2. I realize that Minnesota right now is not a playoff team. They're outside of the playoff cut line in the West, and I think the bottom of the West, the top is great, the bottom ain't good. But Minnesota has been playing great and have fought their way back into contention. And the team that Carolina played last night, if you watched the game, you could tell. That's a good hockey club. They were playing with a lot of confidence, incredibly fast, and caused a lot of problems for Carolina. I thought the Canes were really good in the first period, apart from that stretch in the middle where Teuvo Teravainen took an offensive zone penalty, and all of a sudden Minnesota got their legs. The power play was good without scoring, got momentum. They scored after that, and for about 4 or 5 minutes in the middle of the period, I thought Minnesota was great. Then Carolina was terrible in the second period, yet this is hockey. Carolina was better than Minnesota in the first period, trailed 2-1. Carolina was horrendous in the second period, somehow didn't give up a goal, and scored late in the period to win the period, which is dumb.
In weird ways.
Right, absolutely. And then the third period was, I thought Carolina was actually pretty good from this standpoint, that the mistakes kind of stopped. They weren't a mess like they were in the second period. And I thought it was pretty even, but I still give a slight edge to Carolina in the third period. But ultimately what happened is Carolina played much better, desperately defensively, and they got, I thought, a great goaltending effort from Pyotr Kochetkov. And that, to me, is the difference in winning and losing the game. Rod Brindamore on his initial takeaways from the game.
It certainly wasn't a pretty game. We started out really well, and then we got a penalty there in the first period, and it kind of got them going. And then it was just a struggle, just to get our game going. But I give the guys credit. We battled and found a way.
Yeah, they did. Now, here are the 3 goals. And this is because you need some good fortune, right? The first goal is a great shot by Jacob Slavin that hits Jordan Martinook in the back. I don't know, maybe got him in the butt. I don't know. And fell right to Jordan Staal. Great finish, backhand over Philip Gustafson to make it 1-0. Lucky bounce, fortunate bounce, right? Second goal was a great play and a nice pass from Seth Jarvis to Andrei Svechnikov, who got about 30% on the shot, but it just happened to be in the right spot, and it slid in off the pad of Gustafson. 25 seconds left in the second period, and Carolina got even. I actually think that was the most significant play of the game because Carolina goes to the third not needing a goal to tie, right? It got you even. So all you got to do is play a good third period, and I thought Carolina did. The goal, of course, was fortunate in that it goes off of Steph Nason's face.
Hey, thanks for using your face.
Right? Exactly. I always joke around. I've been around a youth soccer field, a few too many times, and every once in a while, a ball will hit a kid like in the face, and it sucks, right?
Right.
But so I will always just kind of go, keep your eye on the ball. Like it's just a joke. I'm not really. Just
I see what you
happens.
did there.
It happens, right?
Hey, got to use a moneymaker.
So Steph Nason. I mean, the puck was actually a save by Gustafson and popped up, hit Nason in like the visor, and fell in the net.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
That's the way to do it.
That's some puck luck. That's what Carolina needed last night, and they got it. Good win. We'll talk more about it in a little bit because I thought it was a significant win. We always got things to talk about. So the Wolfpack last night went to Tallahassee, and I will just push back on this. I really think that the at-large NCAA tournament bid train has long left the station. They're not getting that because reality, sure, if they could have won that and won Saturday in Chapel Hill and beat Duke and then won at Pitt, come on. I don't know that I would trust Duke or Carolina to go through that gauntlet undefeated. So State, unfortunately, where they are, the at-large train left. Still going to have to win 4 times, maybe 5 times if they can avoid it, in D.C. to get a tournament bid. But what we saw yesterday was, I think, it's not giving up. It was just not good. You cannot not defend on the road. Alec Lower, Trinity Road Times, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I mean, I don't want to be too harsh about this, but that was a bad defensive effort, was it not?
Yeah, no, it absolutely was. It's disheartening because I actually think if you go back to the beginning of the conference season, this was a team that was defending relatively well. But you look at the Syracuse game, they gave up 85 points. You look at what happened last night. It's really faded down the stretch.
Yeah, and here's what I've been saying all year is that I like their pressure defense, but they can't get to it when they don't make shots. Their half-court defense has always suffered because, for good or bad, their half-court defense usually involves DJ Burns. But last night, all elements of their defense were not good. Florida State got in the lane repeatedly. They shot 66% on 2-point baskets. I don't know that I've seen that number before. What do you make of that?
It definitely, when you were watching the game, it definitely felt like it was almost like a white flag game to me, which is very disappointing. It's just kind of the feel of the game, an empty stadium and a really poor defensive effort. You mentioned Burns. Every team is trying to get him involved in pick and roll. That's a big part of what every team's offensive strategy is against State. But I actually think State has the potential to be a solid defensive team when he's not in the game.
Yep.
Taylor guards the ball well. Morcell guards the ball well. Diarra is a guy that you can sometimes switch 1 through 5 with. I think the elements were there, but State just looked aloof last night. I mean, the transition defense was the thing that really stood out. They were not stopping the ball in transition at all, and that was the first and foremost failure that I think you saw a lot of in the first half was Florida State just got up and down the floor so quickly, and they were scoring in transition before State even set their half-court defense.
Alec Lower, Trinity Road Times, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I termed it, they got shots up last night, State. It looked, and I've been jokingly critical of schools like Virginia that are clearly not interested in entertaining people who pay to watch them play. I would put Houston in the same category. Of course, winning is always entertaining. It doesn't make a difference how it looks. But I thought that last night's game, if you were not interested in who won, was entertaining. Like it was up and down. We saw a lot of good offense. I mean, State played well offensively. It wasn't even great DJ Horn last night. They just played well offensively. But when you play on the road, it's not your obligation to entertain the other team. What's your read on where Kevin Keatts is with the community is different, but the administration is probably more accurate. I mean, I don't get the sense that Keatts is really in trouble, and I hope he isn't because I like Kevin Keatts. But what's your read on that whole dynamic?
So my only real in there is just, judging based on, fan apathy and how that starts to look. And it's pretty clear at this point that there's a lot of that. This is obviously not scientific in any way, but, just being on Twitter last night and, most of the people that were State fans and Canes fans were watching the hockey game. There wasn't a whole lot of chatter about the game. I think a lot of people have kind of checked out on this season for State as far as like fans go. And, I think that is, no matter, we can debate like the merits of the coach. And I do like Kevin. I think he's actually done a really good job during the season this year, but there's not a whole lot of interest and excitement around the program right now. And that's just like kind of undeniable. And, unless, you can, change things and get some momentum somehow, that's going to be something that's going to linger, I think. And, I don't think anything's going to happen this year. I don't really know. But if it doesn't, I do think next year is you got to do it, or that's going to be it for this tenure.
Alec Lower, Trinity Road Times. You wrote a very good piece. Actually, it kind of opened my eyes to the necessity of DJ Burns, which, last year's DJ Burns I thought was a positive. I ultimately think he's a net negative because of how damaging he is to your half-court defense. You're going to play more possessions in half-court defense than you are in your full-court press, and he's really no help in that either. But you made some very good points about what his necessity is on the offensive end because they haven't had consistent performances from other players. Last night, obviously, they didn't need him. He only played 12 minutes, and they scored 83 points. But they haven't gotten that consistency. When people ask me, I say the biggest issue with Kevin is that there has been basically no roster continuity from year to year, which is okay for certain schools, but it's hard. It's harder to operate that way. Is that accurate in your eyes, or what do you see the bigger problem is maybe with Kevin?
I think it's accurate. Yeah, it's a roster management failure that I think State's been dealing with really since after his first year ended. It just he hasn't been able to put together a good roster, basically. You look back at all the players that should have played at State and you expected to play at State and didn't, and you find so many holes in each and every one of his teams. And the biggest example to me is really the last 2 years of Markel Johnson, where you should have had Omer Yurtseven and Sadiq Bey on both of those teams. Yurtseven is a dynamite pick and roll big, and Bey is a guy who's averaging 13 and 6 for the Atlanta Hawks. So, a four-man that can handle the ball, that shot over 40% from three. Instead you fill those spots with guys that don't come close to that production. And I actually think Kevin has done a good job as an in-season coach, and I think this year is his best coaching job. I think it's the most diverse offense that he's had. I think he's done an excellent job managing DJ Horn. I think if you remember how bad Horn was in the first 2 or 3 conference games, and we wrote about how he really, really struggled to score against drop coverage, and he was 3 of 22, from inside the arc. You've seen that change. It's been managed well, but it's a very limited roster, and I think State's played at the ceiling of a limited roster for a number of years now.
Yeah, look, I don't even think they're capable of winning 4 in DC, but I'd like to see him. I just think defense is will. That's all defense is. It's, are you willing? And I thought last night was kind of disappointing because it didn't seem like they were really into that. But they got shots up and they scored 83. on Florida State, and it was a fun game for as we say in those people who are interested in soccer, fun game for the neutrals to watch. I mean, it was as entertaining up and down game, and I admit I was late to the party since I fall into that category of people who are also concentrating on the Hurricanes and the Minnesota Wild last night. But what I saw was entertaining, and I wasn't looking for a state to entertain anybody, including me, last night. Alec Lower, Trinity Road Times, man, I appreciate your time. I think
for the neutral. It was the.
I'm just trying to provide some entertainment. That's all I'm trying to do. Alec, I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Adam.
You got it. Actually, there was a good break. He had a very good breakdown about the need for DJ Burns in their offense, and I think we talked about it. It opened my eyes to it, but I want last year's DJ Burns. I don't have last year's DJ Burns. All right, when we come back, Darren Gant, Panthers.com, on the ground in Indianapolis. We'll talk about what the brass had to say next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
You're always close to the Canes with 99.9 The Fan.
47 seconds left in overtime. Jarvis now his feet. Dropper inches, he scores! Inches in overtime, and the Canes win it 3-2.
Count on us to bring you every Canes game night and the latest Canes news from insider Adam Gold, your official home for the Carolina Hurricanes. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
This is the time of year to enjoy life, isn't it? Everything's starting to bloom. Well, stop letting that pain in your joints keep you from doing what you want to do this spring. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, and I'm talking about lasting joint pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Adam Gold here, and this is a fact. QC Kinetics is literally transforming lives. Their advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Pro athletes have been doing this for decades, but now this life-changing treatment is available for you. So you can walk and run and climb and play and do anything you want pain-free. No pain pills, no surgery, all natural solutions. Live your best life this spring and summer. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 919-400-5473. 919-400-5473. 4 locations: Cary, Clayton, Raleigh, and Wake Forest. QC Kinetics.
Fabric Talk. Hey, it's me, your couch. Today's my favorite day of the week, Febreze Fabric Spray Day. The occasional deep cleans are nice, but in between, I'm needing a refresh. Ooh, here she comes with the Febreze Fabric Spray. Oh yeah, spritz them armrests. Don't be shy. Nothing like a good spray down to get me smelling so fresh and clean. Don't forget my back. Nice. Febreze Fabric Spray. It's just that easy. Now we can both breathe happy. Febreze. La 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 la.
Sports fans, you know Dame time. Well, it's about time, North Carolina. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to our state. Paul Ihander with some news for you here, friends. Mark your calendar. March 11th, you'll finally be able to bet on all your favorite teams in all your favorite sports. I want you to do it with FanDuel, where there are tons of ways for you to get in on the action. Bet on everything from the money line to over-unders, to which Tobacco Road team takes home all the hardware this spring. And you'll be able to do it all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Plus, with live betting, you can even pick which player will put up the next bucket and the one after that. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Just go to FanDuel.com/Paul so you can be the first to know when FanDuel goes live in North Carolina. FanDuel.com/Paul. Make every moment more with FanDuel. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Availability subject to regulatory approval.
Did you know one of the best investments you can make? It's in yourself. At My Computer Career, in just a few months, you could start your new career in the high-demand, recession-resistant field of information technology. Isn't it time you invest in you and start a career in networking, cybersecurity, AI, or upskill to boost your current IT IT career. So get the ROI you deserve at My Computer Career. No experience necessary. Start now at mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Imagine pulling up to PNC Arena on your very own Hurricanes Harley-Davidson motorcycle. That dream can become a reality. The Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, Shiny Side Paint, and your Carolina Hurricanes are teaming up to give the Ultimate Caniac a custom Hurricanes 2023 Harley-Davidson Softail. The bike will be given away live on the ice at the game on April 5th, and you might just win it. Go to caniacsbike.com. That's caniacsbike.com for your chance to win this custom-painted beauty of a bike. Do it now. Enter today.
This is Adam Gold.
Listen, the ACC is not as bad as everyone out there, Joe Lunardi and all the proctologists.
Wow. Whoa.
It's
Wait a second.
Bad as
Victoria, did you hear that? It's a proctologist.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Scouting combine going on yesterday. That the NFL scouting combine. Actually, you know what it really should be called? The NFL's job fair.
Yeah.
It's really what it is. Job fair. Not all the quarterbacks are throwing. Drake May will not throw. There was a big debate on Drake May and his, I don't know, pluses and minuses on Get Up today. Apparently, Merrill Hodge, former ESPN analyst, former NFL player, who, I mean, I have nothing but respect for Merrill Hodge. There are always going to be differing opinions on players. He said that Drake May was inconsistent. I don't necessarily disagree with that. He said he was unathletic. I disagree with that.
Wow.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I think he is very athletic.
Yeah.
I think that there are inconsistencies. I think there are inconsistencies with Caleb Williams too. I'm not even going to lie and tell you that I saw a ton of Daniels from LSU, the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna lie about it. I saw him play like one game. I
Right.
know how good he is because he won the Heisman Trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I did not see him enough to go, yep, he is
Winner.
all of that. But I did see Drake May a ton.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he had some. What was that?
Yeah. Why'd
But,
you do that?
But there was a big debate about May, who's good. Who I will be surprised if he is not. I'll actually be surprised if he's not one of the first two picks. But
Yeah.
I'll
me too.
certainly be surprised if he's not one of the first three. The Bears, they're going to draft a quarterback. Whether it's Caleb Williams or not, they're going to draft a quarterback. It's not the we had Dan Wiederer on, who covers the Bears, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we asked about Justin Fields. And he goes, everybody sees the highlights, which are the best parts. So but people around the country don't see the every play Justin Fields. He goes, he's not there. And you're now into, what is this Fields? This would be Fields'
Like
fourth
third
year?
or fourth? Yeah.
Right? It's third or fourth. I don't know, whatever it is. But he's coming to the end of that rookie deal where now you have to start committing money to him. And they're not going to do that.
They shouldn't do that.
Not when you can reset with a better quarterback.
And it's the perfect time to get one, too.
And you've got
the picks.
Now, I could see the Bears trading back from 1 to 2 and the Commandos taking Caleb Williams, because he is a DC kid, wanting to draft Caleb Williams and bring him there. I could see Washington doing that.
Well, and there's all these rumors of whether Caleb even wants to be a Bear, and who knows how accurate that is.
Well, I'm sure it's accurate. I don't know that I'd want to be a Bear either.
No. You go there to get beat up.
They have no history of being good with quarterbacks. Really
Not
none.
at all.
Actually, the Jets have a better history with quarterbacks than the Bears do. Frankly, it ain't close.
Yeah.
That's the sad part. But the Bears are going to take a quarterback, whether they trade back one spot, trade back 2 spots. I'll be stunned if the Bears are not in the top 3 when we come to draft day. They already have 1 and 9 anyway. So they can address another need after taking Caleb Williams at 1. They could take an offensive tackle. They could take a wide receiver. They could take a tight end. I know they have a great tight end right now in Cole Kmet. I mean, great is probably stretching it. He's certainly good. But Brock Bowers is like one of those tight end receiver talents that don't come along very often. You know, in many ways, he's similar to Travis Kelce. He's not a great blocker. Travis Kelce's not a great blocker. George Kittle, different animal, right? Kittle is the heavy blocker. But for me, this is about the Bears doing what is smart. They're going to reset at quarterback, likely with a better quarterback. So they're going to trade Fields, and whatever they get for him, maybe they get a second-round pick. They're probably not getting a first. Maybe they get a future. They don't have a pick right now, I believe, in the second round. They have 2 ones. Pretty sure they don't have a second-round pick. But then they pick again in the third. I'm sure they'd like to get a second-round pick. I also think that the Bears wouldn't hate trading back a spot and acquiring not only 2 picks this year, number 2, and then another pick, but maybe a future one, right? I think the Bears, if they played the long game, could really amass a ton of picks for the future. Again, not sure how it's going to work out. How it pertains to the Panthers, I'm not sure I needed to go into great detail, but there was a big debate on Drake May. So now the Panthers met the media yesterday, and it was Dave Canales and Dan Morgan, and I think we all agree that nothing will work unless the offensive line plays better. Right? It's not their only issue.
No, but it's been a consistent one.
Yeah, and even in the years where they've been good, it does seem like they have sort of put it together on the fly. I argue that the Super Bowl year, when they went to the Super Bowl with Cam Newton as your quarterback, we went into the season going, I'm not really sure how the offensive line is going to work out, but they had good pieces, right?
Yeah,
You know,
and they had Cam.
I think you still had Jordan Gross,
Yeah.
right? You had Ryan Khalil, right? Matt Khalil might have been there too, but they had some good anchor pieces. But ultimately, it was still kind of they're putting it together as we go. It would be great. I thought they were going to have a much better offensive line, and maybe it was just injuries that decimated them. But here's Dan Morgan, the general manager, on the priority and what it is.
I think it's pretty high on the list. I think it's pretty evident that our offensive line, struggled at times last year. We got to get better in that area, and, we're going to do everything in our power to make that happen.
All right. Now, does that involve moving Ike Ekwonu? Remember when we got into the draft 2 years ago, there were, maybe not across the board, but there were enough people that looked at Ike Ekwonu and said, yeah, not a tackle. Could be a great guard. What is Dan Morgan's plans?
Definitely, to your point, I think that's a very valid point. Set in a firm pocket so Bryce can step up. I think that's really important to us right now. I think Ike, the plan is to leave him on the outside at left tackle. I'm excited to see him develop under the new regime, the new offensive line coaches. I'm excited for that potential.
So I don't know what the lack of continuity at guard next to him, I don't know how that impacted his season. I know that Thomas Brown, the former offensive coordinator, admitted later in the season that they should have given him more help, right? Year 2 in the NFL, should Ike Ekwonu have required more help?
Right.
That, to me, would be the question I would ask. So I think it's pretty clear that the jury has not come in on Ike Ekwonu, and that's probably being kind, on him as a left tackle. There is no more important spot on your offensive line than left tackle. No more important spot. The biggest argument for what I just said is Trent Williams with the San Francisco 49ers. When he is not in the lineup, they're no good.
Mm-mm.
Now, maybe they needed a better backup, but they're just no good. I mean, the 3 games they lost in the middle of the season, Trent Williams was not involved in any of them. Just no good. And Dave Canales addressed this yesterday, by the way. I'm moving on to Bryce Young. Canales was asked about fixing Bryce Young and all of that. And here's Dan Morgan on problems that go beyond Bryce Young.
You know, I think it's about improving the Carolina Panthers, not just Bryce Young. Bryce is just one piece of the puzzle. Obviously, he's the quarterback, and I get your question. But we're looking to build depth, we're looking to build competition, and we're looking to build a team that this city can be proud of.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of generalities for me. And I realize it's hard to have all the answers. I don't think their problem in any way is Bryce Young. I don't think it is. I think their problem is a lot of different, felt in a lot of different ways. Their problem has been at times health
Problems.
Oh, they have multiple. You don't go 2-15
No, without having multiple issues.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, since the injury to Cam Newton in the middle of the 2018 season, I mean, I haven't done the math. Is there anybody close to being as bad as the Panthers? I mean, close to being as bad as the Panthers. I don't know I mean, it's easy. It would be easy enough to figure out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I just have
Cardinals
to go.
might be giving them a run, but
Yeah, maybe, right? But they've had, obviously, Ron Rivera was fired after that year. I think, did he get one more year? They were 2 and something. Matt Rule came in. We know how that worked.
Yep.
Frank Reich came in.
For a minute.
He won 1 game.
Yeah.
Right? Steve Wilkes is their best head coach since Ron Rivera.
6-6.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no lie to be found there. There is no lie.
Nope.
He is their best head coach in terms of wins and losses since Ron Rivera. And he papered over a lot of the issues by simply saying, we're not going to do anything fancy. We're just going to run the ball right at you and play good defense. And that's basically what they did.
And it worked. For the most part.
Look, it worked to the point where they won some games.
Yeah.
No, I mean, 6-6 is real. They never resembled a team that was a playoff team because they didn't have a good enough team to resemble that. But at least they were able to stay in games and do enough at the end of games to win games.
With a roster that looked like Swiss cheese.
Right. And it was a similar roster to the one they had last year.
Mm-hmm.
And they came in and, I don't know, look, smarter people than I can't figure it out either. Why did they stink so much? Right? It's easy to just look at the offensive line. And maybe it was injuries to the offensive line. But they've got a lot of fixing to do, and it's not the quarterback. It's not the problem. And they don't have as much cap space as people think. They don't have it. Oh, by the way, before we break, Marquez Valdez-Scantling released today by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, look at that.
Right?
Who
Wait a
would've
second.
thunk it?
I thought he was a hero
I
of the
know.
Super Bowl. Look, he's okay. He's not amazing. What it does, it saved the Chiefs $12 million on the salary cap.
Yeah.
That's what it did.
Yeah. For a hopeful catcher, too.
He was just okay.
I mean, he made 2 big catches when they needed to happen, but that's literally it.
That's basically
all season.
All season long, he was just like, man, is this guy ever going to do anything? And he finally did. And what I hope for him is that it gets him another contract somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
Somebody will bite on that. And who knows? It'll probably be the Jets.
Probably will.
He has familiarity with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that's just not a lie.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's good familiarity, but he has familiarity with Aaron Rodgers. All right, we're going to come back And we will have our Q&A segment. Victoria's got questions. I am set up in the right face-off circle for one-timers. Next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
NC Medicaid is for more people like me.
Adults who don't have children.
People who serve.
People who do the heavy lifting.
Childcare teachers.
Full health care coverage at low or no cost.
Doctor's visits, emergency rooms, and prescriptions.
So if you applied before and didn't get it, apply again.
NC Medicaid covers more people than ever before.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
The wait is almost over, North Carolina, because FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, is finally coming to us in the Old North State. It comes March 11th. And then you'll finally be able to bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports. And with FanDuel, tons of ways for you to get in on the action. You can bet on everything from the money line, who's going to win, to an over-under, total points, higher or lower, or which player is going to win that golf tournament in Georgia where they give you a jacket for winning. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Go to FanDuel.com, promo code AGS, FanDuel.com, promo code AGS, Adam Gold Show, so you can be the first to know when FanDuel goes live in North Carolina. FanDuel.com, promo code AGS. You must be 21 or older and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Availability subject to regulatory approval.
Looking for something fresh and inspiring? PBS North Carolina has just what you need with all new specials. Tune in to PBS NC now through March 10th to watch legendary performances from Carole King and James Taylor, engaging documentaries exploring America, the land we live in, and the latest tips for strengthening your body, mind, and spirit. Visit pbsnc.org/specials for more details. Let's continue to grow together.
Hi, Darcy the Cow here for Black Cow, the mature manure. It's time to start getting your flower and vegetable gardens off to a great start with Black Cow. Prepare new plant beds with a 1.5-inch layer of Black Cow in the area and then mix it in with the soil 6 inches deep. Black Cow is organic. Pick up the bright yellow bag and get growing.
Black Cow, the mature manure, Black Cow.
Are you taking care of someone on Medicare? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming. You're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help you figure out what steps to take and when. SHIP counselors can answer your questions. Visit ncship.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Rural North Carolina is changing every day. At the North Carolina Rural Center, we want to give you the tools and resources you need to keep and create vibrant communities. Join us and hundreds more who share an interest in the future of North Carolina for our annual Rural Summit on March 20th and 21st. Hear from leading voices in the state and nation about what's going well in rural North Carolina and what we have left to do. Learn more about the summit and how to register at ncruralcenter.org.
This is Adam Gold.
Is a hot dog a sandwich, Mike?
Is a pizza a sandwich then? It's bread with toppings and stuff.
When you fold it, yeah.
And it's a calzone.
And a calzone's a sandwich too.
Oh goodness!
They're all under the sandwich umbrella. So is that a yes or a no?
That is a debate. That is a debate I will never embrace. Mr.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. feel like the voice might be getting better. I don't know. I'm just getting into a rhythm.
It does. Maybe you just had to warm it up.
I'm looking like in the second period of a hockey game. It's a long
Exactly.
change, though. Long change
Right?
in this.
Well, the third period's usually the highest scoring, so maybe we could bet on that.
Yeah, it was not. It was 1 goal in the second period, 1 goal in the third period, 3
Yeah.
goals in the first period.
We need Nason's face to score more.
Gosh, well, I'll talk about it when we talk more about the Canes later on with Mike Maniscalco, who's going to join us in about an hour and a half. Right now, it's Q&A time. It's one-timers. Yep, there we go.
I know.
I still don't understand the football graphic in that.
I
Because
think
we ask football questions, is that it?
maybe. Well, and Video Joe, who made it, probably just thought, sports ball. Let's throw a football up there.
What are you taking shots at Video Joe
No,
here?
I just don't know if he's a big sports fan.
He's
so it's
awesome.
usually the oh no, he's amazing.
I love Video
but
Joe.
I don't know
Taking
if
shots
he's
at
like.
Video. That was Victoria that did that.
I love
did
Video
not
Joe.
do that, Joe.
I don't know. It's football's usually the go-to thing.
Yeah,
but not bringing up football here.
Okay.
So NC State with a bad loss yesterday. What would you say, other than just winning because you want to win when you do a sport? What's NC State's motivation at this point?
Oh man, you got to be motivated every game. I get why people would say that, but man, if you're not motivated to play every single game, then you're no good. I don't care what your record is. Is it a reality that you're not going to give maximum effort every single game? Every team has one of those, or 4 of those in you. Shouldn't have any in college basketball. You don't play enough games. But I get why pros sometimes, man, we just don't have it.
Yeah.
I get that because you play so many and there's so much travel. But man, when you play twice a week, there's no excuse for not bringing effort. You can play terribly, but there's no excuse for not bringing effort.
No.
So
Not at all.
Their motivation is simply
you're an athlete, do it.
You get a chance to play.
Yeah.
That's enough. That should be enough. That should be enough motivation, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they've been leaning a lot on DJ Horn, and I know you have some feelings about DJ Horn, so he has not been the greatest for them, I guess you could say. Is there anyone else on this team that you believe has the potential at least to step up and just isn't?
They've got plenty of guys who have had good games. Right? Casey Morsell has had good games. Jaden Taylor has had good games. They need to find. I've been saying this for weeks. The trick for them is to find consistent Robins to his Batman.
Yeah.
DJ Burns, to me, is just not good enough. He's such a liability defensively, you can't use him. I actually like Mo Diarra and I like Ben Middlebrooks, and I'd like to see them get all the time. Every available minute in the middle.
Yeah.
But, DJ Burns, he had such a good, fun year last year. I can certainly see why you're leaning into him, but I wouldn't.
There's other options. So the Duke Blue Devils are playing tonight versus Louisville. I don't think they're probably nervous about this game. They really shouldn't be. Do you see them using Kyle Filipowski?
Has to play. If he's healthy, he has to play. Look, they said it was not an issue, right? They said he was fine. He's just sore or banged up. He's going to play. You have to. I don't think there'll be a court storming.
No, right.
So Duke might be okay.
Probably not.
But you don't have to play Kyle Filipowski for 35 minutes.
No.
And Duke should be far enough ahead of Louisville if they take the game seriously, as they should.
Mm-hmm.
Duke should be comfortably ahead where, Kyle can not play the last 6 to 10 minutes.
And then
right?
don't do what UNC did where they're up 13 and then,
that was just weird. That was just honestly, really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not put off by what North Carolina did, unless they do it again, honestly.
Yeah.
Unless that becomes a pattern. I was not put off by what North Carolina did. It was weird.
Yeah.
They already screwed covering the 14.5.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I know. Well, that'll count March 11th and
Yes.
beyond. So the Duke, after Louisville, they have Virginia, NC State, UNC. So how many wins do you see them getting with the rest of their schedule?
All of them.
Oh, even UNC.
Yeah, I see Duke getting all of them.
Okay.
If they're as long as they're healthy, I think they will get all of them.
Yeah.
And we'll go in. I'll be co-regular season champions with North Carolina. I believe that. So the toughest one is obviously going to be the last one, but they're also not this one, but the next two are losable.
Yeah.
But I think they'll get all of them.
Well, and last but not least, the Canes got to win last night. However, tomorrow they're playing the Blue Jackets, which haven't really been tough so far this season. So is this one of those games where it's don't take your foot off the gas or it could come back to bite you moments?
I mean, I just don't know what come back to bite them. You know, they have the best record in the league since December 12th. Since the game against Ottawa, where I've talked about the goaltending change, right? Where all of a sudden they're getting great goaltending. Since that game, they have the best record in the NHL without a real long winning streak. So I don't know what come back to bite them means, but if you want to catch the Rangers, you can't lose the game.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
February is Heart Health Month, and I'm Tim Donnelly from 99.9 The Fan, joined today by Dr. Faisal Khan from Wake Med Heart and Vascular. Is there any type of warning sign that a person experiences before sudden cardiac arrest?
Well, if there is a history of murmurs, if there's a history of passing out and not knowing exactly what happened, if there's a history of sudden cardiac death in the family, or if you have an abnormal EKG, those could be indicators that you may have a problem with your heart. So make sure you talk to your doctor about if you have any of those things happen to you.
What are the warning signs for a heart attack?
So if you're getting more short of breath, you climb a flight of stairs and you're getting short of breath, you have tightness or sensation of books on your chest or heaviness on your chest. If you're having dizziness, those could be signs that you may have problems with the blood flow to your heart, which could lead to heart attacks. If you're not feeling well, don't sit at home. We see that too many times.
Act fast. Dr. Khan, appreciate you taking the time today.
My pleasure.
Go to wakemed.org to find a cardiologist near you or to learn more about your heart's health.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling. We do the job right every time.
I'm Drake May, quarterback at UNC. Trust the team at Mitchell Heating and Cooling for your HVAC needs. Together we win. Call Mitchell Heating and Cooling today.
Contact us now at mitchellhvac.com or 919-556-5069. Train. It's hard to stop a train.
The best solutions every time.
Were you forced into a nosebleed mortgage rate in the past year? Loan Pronto is here to rescue you. Hey, it's Dennis Cox from my friends at Loan Pronto. Listen, if your mortgage rate is over 7, you're going to be in heaven with Loan Pronto's zero-cost refi. You can cut your house payment by hundreds of dollars and even do it with zero closing costs and no appraisal. Rates have plummeted to the lowest point in nearly 12 months, and it's time to say goodbye to that bad loan you got stuck with. Loan Pronto's got APRs with fixed rates in the 5s. So, don't live with that record high a day longer. You can lock in at a lower rate now with virtually no paperwork or costs involved. Call now and see how much lower you can get your house payment. Refi now and you can even skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call for a free 30-second quote, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers, like people who want a low down payment on state minimum coverage. Take Bailey. When her old car insurance got too expensive, do you think she started using a tandem bike for school drop-offs? No, she found Direct Auto and started saving. And you can too. Get a free quote at directauto.com or find a store near you. Direct Auto. Stop compromising. Keep driving. Terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Adam Gold here from my friends at CertaPro Painters, the painting professionals. And let me tell you, that's something that I don't want to do in my own house. My wife likes it. I don't. These people love it. They are the professionals. You can also trust them to get the job done right and safely and quickly. And each CertaPro Painters business is independent independently owned and operated, which means they live in our community, and you can schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
This hour on the Triangle Sports Leader is brought to you by the Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
You can feel the madness.
Go to GotBrian.com. That's GotBrian.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
What happened over the weekend to Kyle Filipowski is not the case in point when it comes to being against court storming, because he absolutely could have controlled what happened to him. Sticking your leg out and trying to trip a fan while they're court storming and getting hurt and injuring your ankle in the process, it is not something where you can then place blame on Wake Forest or on the stadium staff. That's on you, Kyle Filipowski.
It's the Adam Gold Show. How you doing? I am Adam Gold. Hope everything is well in your world. Lots for us to talk about on the program today, including a big Canes win over the Wild last night. Mike Maniscalco will join us in a little bit more than an hour. That was Chris Canty from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio. And he placed the blame on Kyle Filipowski for the court storming thing. And I don't know whether or not, like this little radio inside baseball stuff, every once in a while, we hear things that fellow radio hosts say that strike us as,
interesting.
Moronic.
Yeah, or that, yeah.
And it's worth discussing. We don't want to essentially say, hey, so-and-so is an idiot.
What a bad, dumb take.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, it's okay for you out there.
Sure.
If I say something moronic, which I understand never happens.
No, but on the slight chance that it does.
Yeah. I understand when the Twitters go ballistic.
Yes.
I get it.
Lit up.
That's fair. But I would hope that it wouldn't necessarily be specifically called out by colleague.
Right.
I would hope.
It's a little different.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, sometimes, we're in different places. Anyway, so I heard that, and I to me, it's a reprehensible take.
Yeah.
No. And we talked about it a little bit. I think that maybe Chris Canty might have a little Duke bias, anti-Duke bias, but I'm not 100% sure that that's true. So I'm not going to say that's why he did this.
But if he does, it's showing.
Again, he's a University of Virginia player who was a product out of UVA. And when you have familiarity within a league, it's understandable. Like Duke, and for many, years, Carolina the same way.
Yeah.
Like, we hate them.
It's a bias. Yeah.
I remember from my time at Maryland, I hated Carolina way more than I hated Duke. Oh, it's not even in the same galaxy.
Right.
Right. Now, I don't hate or love. I hate Maryland now, actually. I don't. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
The truth. I root against Maryland
Well, there
all the
you
time.
go.
I feel bad when Chick Hernandez comes on the show because he and I went to school together.
Yep.
All I do is make fun of Maryland. I despise everything that they did.
And their crab cakes.
Oh, I love the crab cakes.
I love
That's
crab
the state.
cakes.
I don't hate the state. I like the state.
No, I just threw that out
right,
there.
I do.
Because when I think Maryland, I think crab.
Oh my gosh, and I think shrimp salad, and I love Baltimore. I love the city of Baltimore, but I could care less what happens to the University of Maryland. But at Maryland, I grew a hatred for North Carolina. Duke didn't bother me. When Duke and Maryland became the rivalry in the ACC for a while, that was real hatred.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Maryland fans are the worst.
Yeah.
There's no second place to Maryland fan.
Okay.
None. Seriously bad. But that rivalry became so great. It's great for the league. But it was sort of ugly at times.
Made it interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one way to
Right.
do it. If you're an outsider, it's
Right.
interesting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, unless you were like a visiting parent
Right.
watching your son play in
Yes.
College Park and getting bottles thrown at him.
Exactly. You want to talk about headhunting.
Yeah, exactly. So, my point is that because of the familiarity within the league, it could be a case where Chris Canty just, I don't like Duke, fine, whatever, that's okay. But what I found really fascinating was Unsportsmanlike is on from 6 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Get Up is on from 8 to 10. Right? Unsportsmanlike, the shows.
Yes, they overlap.
The shows overlap.
Yes.
And Mike also has a radio show that starts at, I believe, 10.
Mm-hmm.
Right? For those people who listen locally here in North Carolina, right? It precedes us here in Raleigh. It precedes us. Anyway, here is Mike Greenberg on those people who blame Kyle Filipowski.
Let's address the stupidest among us, the people who are on social media after Caitlin Clark got knocked down or after Kyle Filipowski gets knocked down, blaming them, suggesting that they're flopping or something like that. These are people who belong where they are, who are being run into or whatever the case may be by people who absolutely do not belong where they are. Like this moment, for example, people suggesting, oh, Caitlin Clark was faking that to make it look worse than it were. Shut up. And if you're pointing at that Kyle Filipowski looks like he was being aggressive, you know what? If I'm where I'm supposed to be, and you could, well, I'm a bad example of this. If you're where you're supposed to be, and someone has come running at you, and you have no idea what their intentions are, you're going to do exactly what he did also. So if you are one of these absolute morons on social media who are suggesting this was Kyle Filipowski's fault, or instigating whatever it is that happened with this kid who went running out onto the court after him, just be aware that you are an idiot and everyone around you knows you are an idiot.
I want to know the next time that Chris Canty and Mike Greenberg
Yes, please.
were in the same room. I want to know that.
Oh, my goodness. I would love this. See, this is what we should get Evan Cohen back on to talk about. Maybe he saw it. Maybe he's, because, you know, Evan Cohen is also on Unsportsmanlike. He's one of the co-hosts.
That's right.
So maybe he's
All right.
seen this reunion.
We owe Evan Cohen a game of random North Carolina basketball
Yeah, we
player.
do.
So text your boy
Yeah.
and see if we can make that
Because, you know,
happen.
we got a thread going. So
Text your boy and see if we can make that happen. Oh, my gosh. That was I when I heard Greenberg's take, I'm like, did Chris Canty hear that?
Oh, you know he did. If he didn't hear it in like real time, you know he knows now.
Gosh, that was just biting. It was absolutely biting. All right, let's reset this whole thing from today. I'm sorry, Rusty.
You shouldn't. It's perfect.
Rusty, who puts together our hour opens, I think has designed these to just get me. Just to get my humor, my humorous juices flowing.
He knows how
Right?
to set the tone.
And he knew he could antagonize me in the first one because Jay Billis talking about expanding the basketball tournament to 96, which is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to, because they see dollars. That's all they see is dollar signs.
That's all that matters.
Right. And it's also, gosh, I get drawn into it again. It's also
It's
about.
still working, Rusty.
Right, it is. Drats.
See, but your voice is coming back, so maybe he knew.
Yeah, I get into a rhythm once I get going. It's good. The beginning of the segments are terrible. I should start talking before the segments begin. But the whole goal is to really consolidate more of the opportunity among the bigger leagues. It has nothing to do with expanding the field for anybody other than us. Because we know that we are going to have more of the teams in there. It's just stupid. It's just it's selfish. It's everything we teach our kids not to be. But that's what
And then we
college
do it.
sports. I hate to do that. I hate to bring it into a
parenting.
think of the children, but in many ways it is about
I hear Sarah McLachlan playing in the background.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. That's
for
pets.
dogs.
That's
but
for
it's
pets.
like the same.
Gosh, I can't. I turn those commercials off.
I can't do it. Mm-mm.
I run to the remote. I'm like, I don't care. Give me
know.
QVC.
Yeah.
I don't-
All of a sudden, I have to go to the bathroom.
I'm
I
going to
don't
go
know.
buy
It's
something in
someone at the door.
made of cubic zirconium instead. All right. The Hurricanes won last night. And it's funny. You talk about puck luck. And I wanted sometimes what we should all do as fans or even people that are in my position who, and I've always admitted this, I'm a fan too. We should look at games through the eyes of the other team sometimes. So I've been reading some assessments of the game last night through the eyes of the Minnesota Wild. And they are 100% accurate. Carolina, we all think Carolina gets no puck luck and that every goal that's scored against Carolina is our own doing. The second goal last night, which I determined, whether you listen to the Canes Corner podcast, available wherever you get your podcast, we're live on YouTube about 30 or 40 minutes after every Hurricanes game. Once we put the post-game show to bed, we do a second post-game show. We call it the Canes Corner podcast, live on YouTube. Also available in your general podcast machine, whatever that means. But my goal, my assessment was that the second goal, the goal that made it 2-2, was the turning point in the game because it got Carolina even. They didn't have to chase in the third period. They could just play the third period. And that was also the assessment of the folks in Minnesota. But how many things had to happen for that goal? If it happened the other way, we would be screaming about it. Because ultimately, with 30 seconds left in the period, all Minnesota had to do was dump the puck in to Carolina's end. Now, Jordan Staal makes a great play in terms of not allowing Kirill Kaprizov, who was amazing to watch, not allowing him to skate the puck into the zone. So he gives the puck up, and the puck is kind of loose. And again, they could have just pushed it into the zone. Instead, the guy decided to throw it cross ice. It hits his own teammate in the back.
Yep.
Falls to the ice, and then Minnesota was just standing there.
Oh, what do we do now?
They made no effort to defend after that. Like the three forwards on the ice were apparently done with the play.
Yeah.
But get off the ice then.
Yeah.
They're just standing there. Carolina comes in transition. And then here's the most luck. Not to mention the first part where the attempted dump in hits your own teammate. Andrei Svechnikov's shot, which was off a nice pass by Seth Jarvis that had to be intentionally wide to get it through. If Philip Gustafson, the goaltender, decided to skate to the locker room with 30 seconds to go because, I've done enough this period. Literally, if he just left the ice.
Time for oranges.
It's not a goal.
Yeah.
It wasn't on net. It was wide of the net. He would have missed the empty net.
It's crazy.
It hits Gustafson in the inside of the pad and coasts across the goal line. And
Thanks,
there
Gus.
you go. Thank you for the puck luck. Never mind the first goal that happened off of the back of Jordan Martinook, falling to the feet of Jordan Staal. Great shot, but the whole play is made possible because Jordan Martinook was in the way.
Thank you
Right?
for that.
Absolutely. And then Steph Nason scores a goal with his face. So if you're Minnesota, man, we should have won this game.
Right.
But
Stuff
no.
happens.
That's hockey, man.
Yeah.
That
well,
is.
Rod said it was about time. There's been some games we
That
could have
is
used
hockey.
that. So.
All right. Well, we're going to break. Chip Patterson's going to join us on the other side. I just found that whole thing fascinating. I can't wait to
is.
talk to Mike Maniscalco about that. And I don't know if sandwiches are going to come up or
And
not.
hot dogs.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see if Mike had a sandwich while he was in Minnesota or in Columbus where the Hurricanes are.
Yes, he should go to Jersey Mike's for
Oh, yeah. We'll all be up there in
Yeah.
Lewisburg with Sean Hill on next Wednesday, week from today. Chip Patterson will join us next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
This is Chris Lee from WREL with a profile in Black history presented by your locally owned and operated McDonald's. Football is synonymous with Fayetteville's Jimmy Ray. He won 2 national titles in the mid-'60s with Michigan State, starting at quarterback in the famous 10-10 tie game with Notre Dame, known as the Game of the Century. Ray moved from playing to coaching in the early 70s, spending his first years in college ranks before going on to a decorated 36-year stint in the NFL. Ray is widely credited for establishing a network of black coaches, mentoring Super Bowl winner and Hall of Famer Tony Dungy.
Get ready, North Carolina. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is launching soon and just in time because we've got the biggest college basketball tournaments of the year all set and ready to go because it starts March 11th. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets just for signing up before March 11th. FanDuel.com, promo code AdamGold. Join today. FanDuel.com, promo code AdamGold, and join today. Then you'll be set when FanDuel is officially live. You can bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports in all your favorite ways. You can bet winners, you can bet point spreads, you can bet totals because there will be live betting. Isn't that great? You must be 21 years of age or older and present in North Carolina. Bonuses are issued in non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 30 days after FanDuel accepts its first real money sports wager in North Carolina. Unique user identity verification required. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
This is the time of year to enjoy life, isn't it? Everything's starting to bloom. Well, stop letting that pain in your joints keep you from doing what you want to do this spring. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, and I'm talking about lasting joint pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Adam Gold here, and this is a fact. QC Kinetics is literally transforming lives. Their advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Pro athletes have been doing this for decades, but now this life-changing treatment is available for you. So you can walk and run and climb and play and do anything you want pain-free. No pain pills, no surgery, all natural solutions. Live your best life this spring and summer. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 919-400-5473. 919-400-5473. 4 locations: Cary, Clayton, Raleigh, and Wake Forest. QC Kinetics.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Adam Gold.
What type of soup is Jason Kelsey?
He would be like a chicken and dumplings.
Oh, chicken and dumpling.
Yeah.
Very nice. Maybe like an Italian wedding soup. What kind of soup would Travis Kelsey be?
Travis, I feel like he'd be like a tomato bisque.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria, producing the program. Still buzzing after a great Hurricanes win last night. Closed up the road trip with a win in Columbus. Everything will be good. I didn't realize the Hurricanes were the best team in the NHL since December 12th. That was started with the win over Ottawa. I know their goaltending has been about as good as the entire league has seen since that time. Not even gonna lie. And Pyotr Kochetkov is one of the best goalies in the sport. since that game in Ottawa. We'll talk more about that with Mike Maniscalco in about 1 hour. But right now, it is our Wednesday time. It's my Wednesday time with my friend Chip Patterson, Cover 3 Podcast, CBSSports.com. I appreciate your time, sir. We're going to get into Chipolytics. Even about basketball today. We're going to get, like, you and I have not talked any basketball yet because and this is going to sound like I'm buttering you up, but I am not. You have a view of the college football world slightly different from mine, by the way. I think I'm more militant and cynical than you, and you know more about it than I do, so I'm probably wrong. But but I love talking about the mechanisms of the sport on top of the fact that you know more about who's good and who isn't than I do. But I was reading John Wilner's piece in the San Jose Mercury News today, and it's inevitable what's going to happen here, right? It's inevitable that the Big Ten and the SEC are going to not organically dominate the college football playoff in the future, but essentially game the system where they automatically dominate the college football playoff in the future, because there's no guarantees what it's going to look like beyond not this upcoming season, but the following season, because there's not even a television contract. We have no playoff starting with the 2026 season. But it's going to look like whatever the Big Ten and the SEC want it to look like. It'll have as many teams as they want it to have, and they will have as many spots in it as they want themselves to have, regardless of what the reality is. Is that fair?
I think it's too early. I think that we are currently in the process of looking at what the college football playoff is going to be from 2026 to beyond to know exactly which of these things will be true. Because yes, flatly, the SEC and the Big Ten are going to dominate. The SEC and the Big Ten might also look different in 2026 than they look in 2024.
Sure.
A big thing I've gotten out of the last 7-10 days or so is just the underlying bubbling of another wave of conference realignment.
No question about it.
For the SEC and the Big Ten. So when you're making these decisions about the makeup and the revenue distribution of the college football playoff from 2026 to 2032, if you believe that these conferences, the SEC and the Big Ten, are going to be more valuable because of additions that they're going to have to the conference, then that's going to go into their negotiations and the way that they're looking at things. But what you're pointing out is that at the meeting, the board of managers, which apparently is different than the working group, which is apparently different than the AFCA, the FCC, the CAA, and I don't know, it's alphabet soup to me. But the power brokers of the sport come out from these meetings and they say, yeah, we talked about 14. Yeah, we talked about 16. Yeah, we talked about potential guaranteed bids, multiples of them specifically for a conference. And that's what you're referencing here.
Yes.
Here is my translation of where we're at. The SEC and the Big Ten want to make sure that because they believe they will have all of the brands that are worth a damn in the new college football playoff era, that they will be compensated as such from the television contract with the revenue distribution. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can sign a contract that says right off the bat, we are going to get a big chunk, and everybody else, which includes the ACC and the Big 12, as well as the Sun Belt and the Mountain West, y'all can deal with it. That's very similar to what we have with the 4-team model, where the Power 5 conference distributed about 80% of the money that was generated, and the other conferences shared the crumbs from the other 20%.
Yep.
The other way you can do it is to game the system with a wink and a nod, which is to say, we are going to guarantee spots in the college football playoff for our conference, but the revenue, this is just all going to be a meritocracy. However many teams you get in and however many wins they get, that will dictate what the payouts are, which of course you are loading the dice if you set it up with automatic qualifiers specifically for that conference. The expansion to 14, to me, is built with the idea that the SEC and the Big Ten are guaranteed extra spots beyond just one conference champion. The expansion to 16 might be something that happens so that the ACC, the Big 12, and then the Group of Five don't see all of their spots getting gobbled up by these automatic qualifiers. I know this seems confusing, but just understand that all these reports you're hearing are the negotiations. This is what they are fighting over. The SEC and the Big Ten, at the end of the day, want to make sure that they have more teams in and that they've got more money coming their way from the deal. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. Everybody else, you can guarantee us spots or you can guarantee us the paycheck. But either way, we want to make sure that because we're the leagues with all the tiny helmets that people tune in to see, that we end up making a good portion of the deal.
Chip Patterson is joining us here, Cover 3 Podcast. Every Wednesday we do this. And I get so many people that respond to me that say, man, I can listen to this all day. And it's mostly because you are awesome at this. And let me ask you this question. Because last week, first of all, my plan would be, this would not be my plan. But they're going to 16. I would say get rid of automatic qualifiers altogether. I don't think there should be. I think we should have, we're doing this, we should have the 16 best teams, let them fight it out for the national championship. There's always going to be just 5 teams that really have a chance, but that's fine. We're making it bigger because more games are more fun. But last week, you pointed out your, 12 best teams? And they were basically all from these 2 leagues anyway, right?
Yes.
So,
going into this next season, with Florida State reloading, with Clemson just still being so, a head scratcher offensively.
Anti-modern.
with Utah, I guess, Utah, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, that's really the conversation we're having. I mean, we're not talking any top 10 teams from that group.
So they're going to get all the teams in anyway. Just do it organically. But my point is, because you know what you were describing to me, and I apologize that this is going to bother people. You just described gerrymandering to me. And that's what the Big Ten and the SEC are doing. We are guaranteeing our dominance over time because that's the way it is now. We have all the money. Everybody. Oregon and Southern Cal don't want to be in the Big Ten. They feel like they have to be in the Big Ten. They would rather stay where they are. There's no way a team in Eugene, Oregon could want to play against teams in the Midwest of the United States. There's zero chance of that. But they feel like they have no other option. Otherwise, they're going to get left behind. The whole system is gross to me.
All right. So, a couple things. Yes, they are 100% drawing the districts, so to speak. And they have all the power and they have all the leverage. And the ultimate, trump card is, all right, no deal. We'll do our own. And we'll have...
They should.
We'll have one bracket. That's the Big Ten bracket. We'll have another bracket. That's the SEC bracket. And they'll play in a game.
That's what they want.
And you know what we'll call that game? The Excellent Bowl. And we'll have a halftime. I mean, it's
just call it I can't call it the Rose Bowl. Sorry.
But the AFC NFC model is the threat. All right.
Yeah.
So I will push back. I do think that going to 16 teams and just having it be 1 through 16.
Right.
I think that is extremely damaging to college football as a whole. I think that when you're able to dangle these little carrots out, even if you're just going to go get beat, being able to have spots for conference champions keeps engagement going. I think there's an oversaturation issue that you would face if you just lined them up 1 through 16 and told the committee to go pick the best 16. The other thing is that I don't trust the committee's decisions because as I wrote at CBSSports.com last week, the committee hasn't had to make a lot of hard decisions.
No, they blew the one hard decision they made.
Like, I don't want that to be the future of the expanded college football playoff. Wow. Their decisions from 5 through 12, essentially separating 1-loss and 2-loss teams, have only made a difference in terms of who goes to the Peach and who goes to the Cotton. And now it's going to decide who has home field for a first-round game in the playoff for the national championship. I don't trust the committee to do some 1 through 16. So I like having automatic bids. I would be fine with an expansion to 16 and getting rid of the buys. But in order to keep college football as a whole as intact as possible. I like having the conference championship auto bids just because it gives the ACC, the Big 12, the Mountain West, the Sun Belt, it gives them something to really hang on to and something to really compete for all the way through the end of the season.
Except that it's just lawsuit avoidance. They don't want to do this. They're doing it to avoid a lawsuit. The only reason why we have this. I mean, otherwise.
But the why is not important to me. I'm consuming this as like college football. Like I think the college football fan would have even more frustration with an oversaturation of a 16-team tournament that has even more skewed of only the Super 2 than what we're already going to have, even an expanded playoff with guaranteed automatic qualifiers.
Right.
That's why you have to expand, is to give the SEC and the Big Ten what they want without losing what you already have with the 12.
I want to do a little Chipolytics in basketball in a second, but let's spend 2 more minutes on this. I'm going to kick it forward 2 years. The ACC and Florida State are headed for some sort of a separation. However much that costs will determine whether or not there is a draft of teams that follow through the gaping hole of the league, whether it's Clemson or North Carolina or Virginia. Others will, if Florida State goes, others will go as well. So I will then ask Jim Phillips, if he's still the commissioner of the league at the time, the exact same question I asked Craig Thompson, who was commissioner of the Mountain West. This goes back 20 some odd years. Why are you part of a system that conspires against you? Why would you ever schedule and make it easier for these schools to keep you down? And his answer was, they pay us. I promise I will ask the ACC commissioner that question. Why are you even scheduling these teams?
Like, why are you scheduling SEC and Big Ten teams?
Yes. Why take part in the system that is keeping you down? Because that's what the consolidation, I'm not even going to call it expansion anymore. Well, that's what this corporate takeover is about. It's about squashing the competition. It's not about anything other than that. It's all about greed. So why would I take part in your greed?
I can't speak to the business side of this, except for what I'm able to gather from industry experts. But I do think from a philosophical standpoint, you want at certain institutions to be competing at the highest level. And even if a uninvolved objective party and analysis can say, you are not playing the same game, you are getting held out. I think that there is a philosophical standpoint that is saying, we want to measure ourselves against the very best. And I don't know if you have that at like every ACC school, but I do think that you've got them at a lot of ACC schools where you understand you're not playing the same game as the SEC and the Big Ten, but that doesn't mean that you are holding yourself to a different standard. And there may be a financial gap, but when you go play those teams in non-conference play, a football coach or an athletic director can look out on the field and say, I don't see much of a difference here. So you stay in the game because you believe that if you eliminate all the external factors and just leave it to what happens between kickoff and triple zeros, that you can still, prove your worth. And being able to be at the big boy table, I think that is the value competitively that drives a lot of these decisions.
Ultimately, I think we're going to see the Big Ten and the SEC get much bigger, not just a little bit, I think much bigger, unless they jettison some schools, which I could certainly see that happening too. And they're going to do their own thing. That's the way I think we're headed, where they're going to just do their own thing. And that's going to be Division I or 1A, and then whoever's left from the Big 12 and the ACC will be part, and the Group of Five will be Division 1AA, and then the FCS will be Division 1AAA. That's the way I think we're headed, and I don't think that's good for anybody, but that's the way we're headed because the money is the most important thing. Let me get to the Chipolytics. I don't know if you saw Scott Van Pelt's One Big Thing, but he did the breakdown of what I have been talking about for a long time. He just did it much more smoothly. I rant and I wave my arms around. About the difference between conferences. And he talked about the Big 12 and how he thinks it's the best league, and I don't disagree with him. I just don't think there's that big a difference between that league and the ACC. I think they've gamed the system to make it look better. First of all, do you think the ACC has a chance to get more than 5 teams in, or even 5 teams into the tournament?
Yes, 5, I would say, is definitely on the board. The getting to the 6th is going to depend on what happens. Let me see if I can do this off the top of my head. The Atlantic 10, the Mountain West, the Valley, depending on what happens with Indiana State.
Wow.
I mean,
your Chipolytics run deep.
Oh, yeah. Drake and Bradley could be like a big problem for Indiana State. And when we go into the A10, I mean, Dayton is not even the first place team in the conference right now.
Right.
I mean, Richmond VCU could be a big time problem for them. So like that is what we're looking at right now, is the fact that whoever the when we're talking about the 5 or the 6, like to me, 4 seems good. I mean, I don't know, man. Virginia might lose at Boston College tonight, and then I don't even know what to do with the Wahoos at that point. But
right.
let's just say that Virginia, just because of everything they've done between then. Have you listened to the T-ball rating? Did you hear Matt Norlander? T-ball is TBAL. They've been blank lately. Like Virginia's T-ball score is through the roof right now because they have been blank. I am in the position to think that you can get to that 5th if you don't have a lot of problematic bid situations in the Mountain West, the Atlantic 10, and maybe in the Valley. However, if things get a little bit hairy and some unexpected conference tournament winners come out of there, you have a strong team, like a Dayton, potentially like an Indiana State, or like one of those teams in the Mountain West or one of the many teams in the Mountain West who've been pretty good this year. That's where it gets really, really tough for a Pitt, for example, a team who I fundamentally believe is very good, but just might end up being on the wrong side of the way the selection committee seeds things.
No, they probably needed to win last night against Clemson on the road. They've got good road wins, right? I mean, Pitt I've seen Pitt play a bunch, and every time I watch them, they look good. I didn't see last night. Otherwise, occupied.
They played well last night, too. My story last night was that Clemson, we are not used to still talking about Clemson being good on February 28th. We are used to talking about Clemson's 14-0 start and then watching them collapse in ACC play.
Well, they don't have a great conference record. That's the most amazing thing. They've not been great inside the league.
They have been good enough, and
right.
But I think the overall quality over the last 7-8 games, and we're talking about a team that's won, what was it, 5 out of 6, 6 out of 7?
Right.
I think that Clemson's.
I think Clemson's good. They just their record in the league. They're not going to be. They're not going to get one of the 4 byes. They're one of the 4 best teams in the league. I'm convinced of it. But they're not going to be one of the 4. They're going to have to play on Wednesday.
I haven't even done the ACC tournament bracketology. That's usually a motivating Chipolytics factor when we're putting in our best bets for the final 2 weeks of the regular season. So is it Carolina, Duke, Wake, Virginia now?
I think those are going to be the 4 teams that are going to, enter the fray on Thursday. Hey, Clemson, who I think is one of the best 4, is going to have to play on on Wednesday. Frankly, NC State could be playing on Tuesday. And it bothers me because I think they should have been better than this. But I like Pitt. I really do.
Yeah, again, and they play, it was like a 1-possession game with like 2 or 3 minutes left. It's a tough one. Pitt needed to win it. It wasn't a bad loss. I think last night seemed to me to be a little bit more about Clemson's win.
Yeah, good. I mean, good on the Tigers. I think Brad Brownell does a good job, and finally, it's good to see them play better offense than defense for a change. It's not a great defensive team, a pretty good offensive team.
No, but PJ Hall's good enough. I mean, it was so funny. I was coming out of going into last night's game, and I was like, you know what? Oh man, this is a good one that you can run with. Is Sebastian Aho the Kawhi Leonard?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because you talk about him as like one of the best two-way players in the league, and Kawhi Leonard gets respected by the basketball nuts, but by your average fan, probably Kawhi Leonard doesn't get the same level of respect. I think the people that are really into hockey love Sebastian Aho.
Oh no, he's a very good player. What I need more from Sebastian Aho. I appreciate you folding this into the Hurricanes. What I need more from Sebastian Aho is, first and foremost. I mean, you're a two-way player, but first and foremost, you got to be dynamic offensively. He and Andrei Svechnikov both. I need more. That's my one of the things I said last night on the Canes Corner podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts, was that we need more from 20 and 37. They've got to be noticeable all night long, and they go through stretches when they're not. And I'm not trying to compare him to Connor McDavid or players like that, but, I mean, the best players are always noticeable. So I need Sebastian to be that.
Kawhi never got put on the same level as a LeBron or a Steph. Health issues had something to do with that. Yep. But anyway, PJ Hall is what led me there. Clemson big man PJ Hall is a very good two-way player.
He's a taller Sebastian Aho.
And he does enough rim protection that I think that even though Clemson's not a lockdown defensive team, he can be a difference maker on that side.
You're the best. That's Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast. Always great. This will be up on YouTube, I don't know, in like an hour. Thank you, man. I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Y'all be well.
He's the best. Oh, my gosh. All right. We are going to place some wagers, fictitiously, of course, in a little bit. It's been a halfway decent run of late, right?
Not for me yesterday.
Oh, no. It's just, look, Notre Dame and Wake Forest at least helped me come out on the winning side.
Definitely did not have a nascent face goal.
No. Anytime face goal plus 1,000 would be.
I wonder what that would be.
Would be Steph Nason.
Wow.
My gosh. Real quick, I referenced the Scott Van Pelt thing, and I'm not going to play it here, but we're going to play it a little bit later on. And Van Pelt did something we talk about all the time. How you can work the system, you can game the system to make you look better. What have I said about college football? There is no mechanism, zero mechanism, to reward teams for playing good schedules in the non-conference. It does not exist. It will never exist because the people can just say, I test. So Michigan won the national championship in football. I am not in any way saying that Michigan wasn't the best team in college last year. I mean, by all accounts, they were. The two, playoff games they played, they won. And it looked to me, while at the end of, was it the Alabama game, right? They still were in comeback mode, right? They went for it on fourth down on that drive. So it wasn't like it was a given. But I wonder if in September, like so many teams did, like Alabama did, I wonder what would have happened had Michigan played, I don't know, somebody worth a damn. But they didn't. Did it impact them? No. Why? I have eyes. So my problem with college basketball is that it's the same way, even though there are more games and more freedom to overcome losses. It's the same way. And because we are so lowest common denominator the way we talk about these things, all you hear on TV is quad one this, quad two that, quad. It's all you hear. You hear it during the broadcast from smart people. Because we know how it's processed by the people who make these decisions. The Big 12 has 100% worked the formula to its advantage, which, as Scott Van Pelt says at the end of his piece, and we'll play it later, schedule accordingly. In other words, why bother? Play crap, beat it to death. Your numbers automatically look better. And then when you play each other every single time you take the floor, it makes you look better. Oh, look at that. Another quad one win for TCU. Like, who'd they beat? They beat Iowa State. Why is that a quad one win? Because they scheduled nobody, beat everybody. It's just self-fulfilling.
Work the system.
Yeah, that's all it is. It is a giant work on everyone. And even the people who cover the sport. It doesn't matter whether or not you can look and say, yeah, they're good. How do we really know? And then when we get to the NCAA tournament, and I'm not saying this is going to happen this year, when we get to the NCAA tournament and the ACC has, how did that 11 seed make it to the Final Four? Or whatever Miami was 5 seed Miami was last year. Or how did the 11 seed make it to the Sweet 16? When that happens, we're like, oh, man, what an underdog. You know what? Maybe they shouldn't have been at 11. I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe they should have been higher. But we only know one way to do it, I guess. Anyway, we're going to place bets and we'll stretch because, honestly, we've got about halfway through. I need some limbering up. Next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
ACT Construction Equipment is proud to be your certified local Takeuchi dealer in Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Asheville, Wilmington, and Myrtle Beach. Takeuchi has long been a world leader in the compact construction industry. Let ACT Construction Equipment help you find the right machine for the job. Our full line of excavators, track loaders, and attachments are designed for low maintenance and high productivity. Stop in today for a demo or visit us online at actce.com. ACT Construction Equipment, your authorized Takeuchi dealer.
Are you taking care of someone on Medicare? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming. You're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help you figure out what steps to take and when. SHIP counselors can answer your questions. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
You've got a friend at PBS North Carolina. Tune in now through March 10th for all new music specials featuring Carole King and James Taylor, the Bee Gees, and more. Just call out our name whenever you have Carolina on your mind. Watch legendary performances, engaging documentaries, and the latest tips for strengthening your body, mind, and spirit. Your support keeps us staying alive. Visit pbsnc.org/specials for more details.
Hi, Darcy the cow here for Black Cow, the mature manure. It's time to start getting your flower and vegetable gardens off to a great start with Black Cow. Prepare new plant beds with a 1.5-inch layer of Black Cow in the area and then mix it in with the soil 6 inches deep. Black Cow is organic. Pick up the bright yellow bag and get growing.
Black Cow, the mature manure, Black Cow.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
People who are pregnant, who have syphilis or contract syphilis, can have children with profound health outcomes. Congenital syphilis is 100% preventable. I mean, it's treated by the oldest antibiotic known to man, penicillin. We need to make sure that people have access to testing and people have access to treatment and that we don't delay.
Find testing and learn more about syphilis at syphilis.nc.gov.
Rural North Carolina is changing every day. At the North Carolina Rural Center, we want to give you the tools and resources you need to keep and create vibrant communities. Join us and hundreds more who share an interest in the future of North Carolina for our annual Rural Summit on March 20th and 21st. Hear from leading voices in the state and nation about what's going well in rural North Carolina and what we have left to do. Learn more about the summit and and how to register at ncruralcenter.org.
Have you ever noticed how little things can make a big difference? You know, when someone smiles at you, and right away you feel better. So why not pass on that smile to the next person? And then the next person passes it on to another. Winning friends one smile at a time. It's easy to do. In North Carolina, we have always taken pride in being kind. Little things do make a difference. Makes you feel better. Makes everyone around you feel better.
This is Adam Gold.
Dan on Twitter, who you got? Robert Plant or Elvis Presley? That is actually very difficult because I don't want to disrespect Elvis Presley. I think it's Elvis. It's very, very close. And that is an incredible question.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. I was actually just crafting a response to a tweet that gentleman Dan sent to me. I will respond to you on Twitter. Yes. Dan is a wonderful person.
A loyal listener.
Absolutely. And doesn't even live here. By the way, Dan is in Texas, but
oh, nice.
But yes, streams us on usually WRALSportsFan.com. You can also watch us on YouTube, apparently, right now.
Yes.
And the conversation with Chip Patterson is already living.
It is.
On YouTube.
Might be pending still, but it's up. It's going to be up there any second if it's not already.
If you're just joining us, you missed a fun, frolicking conversation.
Chipolitics.
Yes. College football, a little bit about basketball, and then somehow P.J. Hall and Sebastian Aho were separated at birth. Don't know really how that happened.
Yeah,
but, that is all good. Or you can always respond. You can always hit me up on Twitter at @AGoldFan and Victoria on Twitter as well. There are all sorts of
V to the Victoria with underscores.
Exactly, underscores everywhere. But by all means, all right. Let's stretch and then we'll place bets.
Okay, so I saw this video, and it's one of those things that maybe on the Twitters or X or whatever you want to call it, you should look this up because...
We should just call it Twitter. I go to twitter.com.
That's what it is.
And it comes up. Don't tell me it's X when it's still twitter.com.
I know. They might put a big X there, but I still have to type in Twitter.
Yeah.
So I saw this on Twitter, and I thought this was hilarious. So in Germany, they do this game before the Super Bowl, and it's where they call it this ice football. So what it is, it's like normal football, but it's played in a hockey rink, no skates, just normal shoes. So it's a bunch of men's running around, slipping and sliding all over the place, but it's football. So if you want to check this out, you absolutely should because it's hilarious. I would actually do this myself. It looks that fun. Now I might feel it the next day, but you should look this up. It's great. They even have like these old school leather helmets from way back when. So yeah, it's awesome. But there you go. This may not be so awesome, however. Kellogg's CEO is kind of in some hot water, maybe hot milk. Yeah, I said it. Because
hot milk?
Some people like hot milk, and I can't do that.
No.
I need it ice cold. Thank you.
I mean, hot milk in like hot cocoa.
Yeah,
but...
that's no. Yeah, or my coffee. I don't know. But he was on CNBC last week, and he was basically trying to throw out the idea of families feeding your children, or as a family, cereal for dinner. Now, I can say I've had that before because sometimes you just get a craving for like a bowl of Fruit Loops or what. I don't know, whatever your favorite thing is. But yeah, he's getting some blowback from it just because he's trying to say, with the financial pressure of the times, we should just eat bowls of cereal.
Well, cereal's like stupid expensive. But.
I know. Even that's going up. So they recently came out with some Tony the Tiger ad where they chant cereal dinner over and over and over again to push it for the kids. So yeah, I don't know. So there you go. You might want to buy some cereal because apparently the CEO thinks that's what should be for dinner all the time.
I mean, that's not a staple, but
yeah.
I kind of like it as a late night snack. It's probably
Yeah,
not good
no,
for you.
it's more of a snack because I'm going to eat multiple bowls of cereal if it's dinner. So, but you could maybe place some bets, get some money.
How many bowls of cereal you will eat? I would do that.
Is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide. Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
Man, like I
Was
said,
it a tough night?
It was a bad night. I did not because I didn't have Nason for any face goals, so that didn't work out for me. Aho didn't get any, and then of course I had a Red Wings Patrick Kane for an anytime goal scorer, but everyone else on the team scored yesterday with 8 goals.
Right, there's a lot of goals last night.
So that didn't work out. But
Philly scored 6.
yeah, it was crazy. So today, Columbus Blue Jackets that the Canes will be meeting tomorrow. They're going to be in New York with the Rangers. You know what? Give me Vincent Trocheck. We know that name. Plus 165 for an anytime goal scorer.
All right, I'm not rooting for the Rangers to score any goals.
No, not really.
All right, we're going to go to the Duke game. Duke plays tonight. Duke is at home to Louisville. They're favored by 20.5 points. Come on, Duke. Lay the wood to the Cardinals.
Right.
Just lay the wood to them. Give me Duke over 151.
Nice.
Plus 245.
Awesome. St. Louis Blues are going to be in Edmonton taking on the Oilers. I think Evander Kane is going to get a goal, so plus 200 for him.
All right, PGA Tour. I don't even know where this tournament is. It's called the Cognizant Classic. I'm not cognizant of where the tournament is. But we're going to go Cameron Young to win it. Cam Young to win it. Plus 220. There you go. Why not? All right, maybe I'll throw a soccer wager at you in a little while. But who knows? Right now, I do know this. Coming up, you'll hear from Dan Morgan and Dave Canales in the Wall of Sound.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my man, Coach Pete D'Arruda, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex, and let's get you ready for what it's really all about when you don't have to go to work for the man anymore. We're going to retire on your terms, and the best way to do that is to get in touch with my man, Coach Pete D'Arruda, because he is the retirement planning specialist. Notice, I didn't say a retirement planning specialist. He is the retirement planning specialist, best-selling author on the subject. He does many national and TV radio shows. He's got a great studio in his offices in Apex, and you should check it out. But really what you need to do is text Adam to 600-700 for Coach Pete D'Arruda, because they can set you up with a total customized retirement plan that will put you on the road to financial freedom in your retirement. Oh boy, you can do whatever it is you want to do on your terms. Text Adam to 600-700. It's a $1,000 value. Yours free today. Coach Pete D'Arruda, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. Text Adam to 600-700 for Coach Pete D'Arruda.
Fabric Talk. Hey, it's me, your couch. Today's my favorite day of the week, Febreze Fabric Spray Day. The occasional deep cleans are nice, but in between, you know I'm needing a refresh. Ooh, here she comes with the Febreze Fabric Spray. Oh yeah, spritz them armrests. Don't be shy. Nothing like a good spray down to get me smelling so fresh and clean. Don't forget my back. Nice. Febreze Fabric Spray. It's just that easy. Now we can both breathe happy. Febreze. La 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 la.
Progressive presents Precious Moments.
Nothing beats driving cross-country in our RV.
This is so much fun, Dad. I don't even need to look at my phone.
It's not the destination, it's the journey. Jinx!
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive and you could use the savings to make sure that RV is always ready to hit the road. Who knows, your teenager might actually put down her phone for 5 minutes. It could happen. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Tired of your chilly house? Fight the February cold with Window Nation. Right now, save big with 50% off all window styles. Plus, 0 down, 0 interest, and no payments for 24 months. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com now.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I want to make your life easier if you are a contact lens or glasses wearer. Dr. Lori Travers and Travers LASIK, the only LASIK specialist in the Triangle, TraversLASIK.com. Ditch contacts and glasses forever. Dr. Lori brought me back to 20/20 vision in about 10 minutes. 0% financing for 24 months is available, and you can get the consultation for free. TraversLASIK.com or call 919-510-6830. Travers LASIK.
This hour on the Triangle Sports Leader is brought to you by the Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
You can feel the madness!
Go to GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It just didn't, take a genius to say that something's going to happen. And when it does, let's not act surprised. This is not only foreseeable, it's inevitable. And we've had significant injuries over this in the past, to fans especially, and nothing really changes. But the truth is, nothing's going to change now. We're going to talk about it, and it's going to go away, and nothing's going to change. And if they wanted to stop it, they could stop it tomorrow.
Jay Billis, our second open featuring Jay Billis.
It's a J Day, I guess.
Holy mackerel. And the second part of that is that let the students on the court, but don't let them off the court.
Trap them.
And what he's saying is then give them all citations.
Exactly. Herd them in there. You know what? Back in the day, we used to have gym day. People remember this with the parachute. Remember Parachute Day?
Yeah, it was fun.
I loved Parachute Day.
Yep,
it's kind of like that,
good.
But without the fun part. Or the parachute,
without
maybe.
the parachute. Without the camaraderie.
Yeah.
Although maybe everybody in there is...
It's a different kind of camaraderie.
Absolutely. But if you handed every person who went on the floor like a ticket, like, hey, congratulations.
You're the winner.
$80 plus court costs.
Here's a fine. Yeah.
It would stop it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it wouldn't stop it entirely, but
slow
it would
it
stop
down.
it.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting. Most of the time, I make fun of the Chris Mad Dog Russo bits.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's Mad Dog mad about? And it's usually something dumb.
Yeah.
But he was mad at Duke being mad at court storming, right? Which, again, it's just part of what the college experience. I'm not saying it's part of what fans should do.
Yeah, it just comes with the territory.
It just is, right? Is it dangerous? It can be. Have we seen it for decades? Yeah. Are there some incidents? Yes. More often than not, way more often than not, it's handled better. The problem really was the way Wake didn't handle it.
Right.
More than anything else. The way they didn't handle it. You have to take arena security more seriously, which they clearly did not. But they did show video of Duke fans storming the field after they beat Clemson. So what's it going to be?
Exactly.
What's it going to be? Anyway, it's Wall of Sound time.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
And by the way, even though we might not have a lot of hurricane sound here, we might get to some hurricane sound. Mike Maniscalco is going to join us in about 12 minutes to talk about the Hurricanes' win over the Minnesota Wild and also just the team in general. We'll do some broad brush things for Mike Maniscalco. All right, let's get to the Panthers at the NFL job fair called the Scouting Combine. Dan Morgan Is the offensive line, he is the president and general manager of the Carolina Panthers, is the offensive line a priority?
I think it's pretty high on the list. I think it's pretty evident that our offensive line, struggled at times last year. We got to get better in that area, and, we're going to do everything in our power to make that happen.
Yes, it should be a priority. Protecting the quarterback, opening up holes for the run game, all good ideas. What about Ike Ekwonu, who in year 2 struggled mightily at left tackle? What is the plan there?
Definitely, to your point, I think that's a very valid point. Set in a firm pocket so Bryce can step up. I think that's really important to us right now. I think Icky, the plan is to leave him on the outside at left tackle. I'm excited to see him develop under the new regime, the new offensive line coaches. I'm excited for that potential.
So last year, toward the end of the season, Thomas Brown admitted that they probably should have given Ike Ekwonu more help in terms of, pass protection on the left side of the line, that they left him alone a lot. And here's my response to that would be, it's year 2. Why does he need help all the time? Granted, there are going to be some players that, we'll give him somebody else, a tight end to chip, a running back to stay in on this side. But Ike Ekwonu was getting beat repeatedly. We saw this in the preseason. It didn't look good in the preseason. So, year 3, I'll be curious to see if he gets better.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that at the end of year 1, he looked like he was progressing, and then year 2, he's regressing.
Yeah, the problem with comparing last year to year 1 was what happened when Steve Wilkes took over with 12 games to go. They ran the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Ran the ball, ran the ball, ran the ball, ran the ball.
Oh, this works. Let's not do that.
But the point is that, statistically speaking, Ekwonu looked better in pass protection because Carolina was, in general, in better positions, right? So, his pass pro win rate was blah. Yeah, because they kept expecting you to run the ball. So, they were able, we talk about gaming the system. In some ways, the Panthers gamed the analytics system about how good Ike Ekwonu was in the second half of his rookie year. Last year was a clear step back. Is he? We don't even know really if he is a left tackle. We'll find out this year because this will be 2 different coaching staffs. We'll find out if he is a left tackle. All right, now, one thing I wanted to get to and I know we played it yesterday, but I think it's important because Dave Canales said, we're not trying to fix Bryce. It's not about fixing him. But how do you go about fixing, or not fixing Bryce, but fixing the offense, getting the most out of the offense? And I thought this response impressed me.
Between Will Harriger and I, and of course Brad Idzik, but Will Harriger's our quarterbacks coach, comes to us from the Dallas Cowboys, and he and I have just been sitting down and we're just kind of mapping out, just a really detailed report. I take it back to Brian Schottenheimer when he came to Seattle and he launched me on a project. He said one of the things he did for Andrew Luck, for Phillip Rivers, for Drew Brees, is before he had a chance to meet with them the first time, he had a detailed plan about how to improve the things necessary to play quarterback at a high level. And he showed me the report. He showed me the cut-ups that kind of went with it all. And then he challenged me. He said, you will earn another level of respect with Russell by approaching it from a detailed standpoint. So we're really working on that. I really respect Bryce and the road that has taken him to here. And I want to be able to present something to him that's tangible, that's specific, and says, hey, here's some things that we can really dive into and improve on. Here's things that you're doing great. So we'll have a great plan when he comes back to us in a couple of weeks.
Sounds like preparation is the key to me. I wonder, was that attempted before? I don't know.
Good question.
I don't know. Look, being facetious, but what impressed me about Dave Canales during his introductory press conference is that he seemed to be legitimately speaking off the cuff, from the heart.
Yeah.
And this is no disrespect to people. Some people just are good at being in front of a microphone, and some people are not.
Right.
One day I hope to be. So, and because to me, Dan Morgan looked uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
Right? And that's fine.
Sure.
I'm not going to. Dan Morgan will be judged by his work.
Behind the scenes.
Right?
Yes.
Dave Canales will ultimately be judged by his work. You can talk your way out of so many issues, but ultimately the judge will be wins and losses. That's what it will be. All right. One Hurricanes thing before we get to Mike Maniscalco. And last night, Carolina, all 3 goals were in many ways fortunate. First goal, the initial shot hits Jordan Martinook. I don't know, was it the back? Was it the pants? I called it a butt pass.
Love it.
Right?
It's not the first time we've seen butt passes.
No, I've seen goals with the butt.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen crotch goals before, right? Well, we're getting close to that today. But shot off Martinook's back, falls to Jordan Staal. That's a goal. The second goal for Carolina was not even going to be on net. And Svechnikov almost whiffed on the shot anyway, but hits the goalie in the inside of the pad. Karam's in. We'll take it. The third goal went off Steph Nason's face, and here's how it sounded naturally.
Carabine to the side of the net, and they score. Just as the door opens to allow Zuccarello back on the ice, the Hurricanes take their first lead of the night. It's 3-2 as Nason's able to beat Gustafsson.
Yeah, watch Mermis on the right side of your screen. He's battling Nason, and that goes off of, I think, Mermis, then Nason's face in the back of the net.
Yep.
You could hear the hesitation. Was like, did that just go off his face? It did go.
Got beat by a face goal.
Yes.
All right. We'll talk to Mike Maniscalco about goals with different body parts next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's madness.
Davis, the man with a hot hand, accelerates to his right now. Step back 3 on Cleveland. Ring that. He cannot miss.
Total madness.
Ben Johnson, shot fake for the win. Yes, sir.
Absolute madness.
Bruce Thornton ahead. Potter at the buzzer. Got it.
The Triangle's home for college basketball's national championship. 99.9 The Fan.
BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, is where you'll have access to a betting app that was designed for any game day. I'm Victoria Vodnecker, and I have lived in North Carolina my entire life, so I am very well aware that in the past, us natives could only imagine placing bets on our favorite team, players, or both, and hopefully cashing in on those perfect predictions. Am I right? Well, those days will become a reality on March 11th, so this is a great time to start looking into everything BetMGM has to offer. You're going to see things like same-game parlays, you can make live bets, signature bets, even exclusive player props, and that's really only scratching the surface with BetMGM. So right now is the time to get in all of those practice runs, see what might work best for you, and then come prepared on March 11th. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers, like people who want flexible payment options. Take Corey. When his old car insurance wouldn't extend his payment date, do you think he stopped driving and started speed walking? No. He found Direct Auto and now pays in person with a local agent when it's convenient for him. And you can too. Get a free quote at a store near you. Direct Auto. Stop compromising. Keep driving. Terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Lower mortgage rates are here, and smart homeowners are wiping out all their credit card debt with help from Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Right now, Loan Pronto has a cash-out refinance rate of just 5.49%. That's a huge drop. So you can get refinanced now, get cash out of your home's equity to wipe out all those credit cards and other high-interest loans. You can save hundreds every month with lower payments. Or if you still have a mortgage rate in the 3s, you can use Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit. Just get the cash out you need and leave your primary mortgage intact. Loan Pronto can get you 50, 75, 100, even 200,000 in just a matter of days. Bottom line, Loan Pronto's got several options to help you erase debt and take control of your finances. Call today and you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, 5.49%, has 6.39% APR, subject to lender approval.
Calling all Canes fans. Your Carolina Hurricanes want to see you cheering them on at PNC Arena. Experience all the excitement of hockey in the loudest house in the NHL. Be a part of the action, celebrate the best goals, and see the biggest hits from PNC Arena. Be there as our quest for the Cup continues. From puck drop to the final horn, there's so much excitement to experience at a Carolina Hurricanes game. Secure your seats now at hurricanes.com/tickets. Let's go Canes.
Imagine pulling up to PNC Arena on your very own Hurricanes Harley-Davidson motorcycle. That dream can become a reality. The Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, Shiny Side Paint, and your Carolina Hurricanes are teaming up to give the Ultimate Caniac a custom Hurricanes 2023 Harley-Davidson Softail. The bike will be given away live on the ice at the game on April 5th, and you might just win it. Go to caniacsbike.com. That's caniacsbike.com for your chance to win this custom-painted beauty of a bike. Do it now. Enter today.
This is Adam Gold.
If the kids want to get on the floor, they're going to get on the floor.
They'll find a way.
There are too many ways to get on the floor.
Yeah, and they've been drinking liquid courage all day.
And that is very possible. But only the ones that are old enough.
Only the older ones, yes.
So, the Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. What a great bump to come back with. In honor of Steph Nason's face goal, which, according to our friend Walt Ruff of Hurricanes.com, content maestro, it's not even the first face goal Steph Nason scored in his career. Did one with the New Jersey Devils back in the day. Mike Maniscalco, I'm going to say this definitively, has never scored a goal with his face. Ever. He might have blocked a pitch in the dirt with his face. I don't know. He joins us on the Adam Gold Show, the voice of your Carolina Hurricanes. He's in Columbus. You've never scored a goal with your face, have you?
Does floor hockey count or deck hockey?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Then yes, I have.
Oh, good for you. Did it hurt?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's those you know, the hard plastic orange road hockey balls that and I wasn't wearing a helmet or anything, so. But, I got a hard head, so I'm fine. And it was Steph Nason who was the source. He told him that he did it with Jersey. And Walt went, and as you mentioned, Content Maestro was able to dig up the video and find it. So
it's great. I'm looking at it right now.
That's a huge goal, too. Whenever you score with your face, like when Justin Williams did that a few years ago after the Brett Pesce shot, I believe down in Florida, that should count as 2 goals, not just as 1.
It's funny. I keep busting Brett's chops about it as every time I can by telling him, the ultimate insult is that your slap shot hit Justin Williams in the cheek and went in, and he came back and played. I think you need to go back and work on your shot, Brett.
And I'm sure he gives you that.
He loves it.
Yeah, I will. I don't have the hardest shot. It was accurate.
He was aiming. It was a tip try. It was great. It's a shot pass right off of Williams' cheekbone. Rod Brindamore talks about it. Has talked about it a lot. Not a lot of puck luck. I mean, honestly, Carolina's 3 goals were all puck luck last night. The shot off just Jordan Martinook's back or his pants or wherever it hit fell to Jordan Staal. The Svechnikov shot, I've seen it 1,000 times now. It wasn't even on net. It was, and then the Steph Nason face goal or the visor goal. But didn't you think they got better? I thought the third period was pretty solid. Rod didn't like it, but I thought it was solid in the third period.
No, I like their first and I like their third period in that game, especially, a 2-2 game on the road. You got that late goal that ties the game in the second period, a period you didn't play well. That was the funny thing, is I thought that the Canes were far better than Minnesota in the first period, but it's the Wild who are up 2-1. Right. And I thought that the Wild were better in the second period, and the Canes win that period to have the game tied. So I thought they played a good road period. in the third. The way that you have to play to win in the penalty kill again comes up big. I mean, that's the, Adam, when we talk about this team this year, I think the hallmark is going to be the special teams and how the penalty kill in a lot of games really switched momentum to the Canes side of things. And when puck luck, the one thing about it, you got to get a bounce, but you also have to put yourself in the spots to take advantage of the bounce. And that's what the Canes did on their 3 goals there last night. They got to the spots. I mean, that's a goal that Steph Nason, he's not dancing around. He's charging to the net at the end of a power play, and that should be, we can argue, is it a power play goal or not? In my mind, if you score a goal 5 seconds after a power play is over, there's no way the guy coming out of the box gets in position. That's still a power play goal in my mind. But, Nason scores by going to the net. And then the Canes make a great play on the Svechnikov goal, and Andrei Svechnikov stays on the ice to try to get numbers on that shift and on that rush. So, you make your own luck when you get it, and this is a team that, the bounces don't necessarily always go their way, and they find a way to win. So that was pretty refreshing last night in St. Paul to get that.
Mike Maniscalco is joining us, the voice of your Carolina Hurricanes against Columbus last night. I think it's a radio tomorrow night. I don't know.
You are correct.
I think it's a radio-only game tomorrow, but anyway, we'll be on the radio, and all of us will be on the radio. And I want to talk to you about Pyotr Kochetkov, and I know you talked to Tripp about it a lot, and I've been talking to Tripp throughout the day today about Pyotr. He was amazing in the win over Florida. I mean, so good, spectacular stand-on-your-head type game. But in many respects, I'm not sure last night wasn't a better sign that Kochetkov had turned the corner, because I thought his anticipation, reading the play, helped him make what otherwise would have been difficult situations look routine. Because as good as Minnesota was and as dangerous as they've been offensively lately, he didn't have to make a ton of great saves. I just think he was in position all night.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing, Adam, that goalies can make it would normally be a great save if they're out of position and they scramble to get to it, but he makes a save on Matt Zuccarello late in the first period, and I'm thinking Zuccarello is going to bury this one, and Kochetkov is over there to make the play. He robbed Marco Rossi twice. One was right there on the goal line. Matt Boldy was there, and then the one save on Kaprizov where the puck, it's on the power play. He mans up on him, and he's in the right position. And I'm with you. And the first period, again, I don't fault him on either of the goals. Yeah, the one from Brodin is from distance, and you can say, well, woulda, coulda. But for me, it was after that. Nothing comes in. And for a young netminder, you got to build that mental wall of, okay, nothing else is getting past me here the rest of the night. And that, for me, is the growth this year for Pyotr. I think we all know he has the skill, and Paul Jeanfelder has done an unbelievable job with working with Pyotr on the tenets of being a fundamentally sound goalie.
Right.
I know that's coach speak there, Adam, but
right.
That's a big thing when you can rely on the fundamentals, and then his athletic ability can take over for the other parts of it. You're really building something special, and I think that's where the Carolina Hurricanes are right now with Pyotr, and that was a good performance last night from him. And I'm with you, building off of what he did in that Florida game. You just want to keep stacking these wins, and that's what he's been able to do.
Yeah, we all remember the first, I don't know, 2 months of the season, and Carolina's team save percentage was at the bottom of the league. It was like in the 870s. It was that bad. It's just over 90% now. But since the game in Ottawa, and that's the line of demarcation not only for Kochetkov, but for the team. The Hurricanes have the best record in the NHL since that game, that win in Ottawa. Their team save percentage is .910, which if you looked right now, 5th best in the NHL if you put that .910, slotted it right in. So from that point on, it's not just Pyotr. Part of that is also Spencer Martin. You got an explanation for that?
Yeah, I do. There's a couple of things. One of them, and I know that we can talk about analytics and numbers all day long. If you go to the start of the year, and the one thing that the Canes do defensively that is better than I think than anybody in the league, they limit shots on goal. So Adam, when
Yes.
you're only giving up 22, 23 shots on goal a game, but you're not getting those saves that you need, or
Right.
you're giving up grade A chances, and the other team is scoring 4 goals, 5 goals. You're the perfect guy I can use this analogy with. It's like a starting pitcher who gets rocked on opening day. It's going to take him until June to get his ERA back to where you're like,
Right.
oh, that's not disgusting. So that's kind of what happened with the Canes goaltenders in October and November. And now what's happening is not only are the Canes still limiting the shots, but now you're getting the saves. And for Spencer Martin, we're here in Columbus, so not to go Ricky Bobby and no disrespect to the Columbus Blue Jackets, but for Spencer Martin, playing in front of a team that doesn't have that defensive structure, doesn't play the way that the Canes do, you throw him behind what Carolina does, and all he has to do is stop the puck. He doesn't have to be Superman. He just has to stop the puck. And the amazing thing for me is Boston, Vegas, a Chicago team that wants to play a little bit open, and they got Connor Bedard back in that game. And then he was the reason why Carolina gets a point against Buffalo on Sunday. I just think for him, it's the confidence going back the other way. I think the confidence goes from the goal out. I think for Spencer Martin playing behind this team, I just have to get in front of the puck. I don't have to worry about anything else. And he has been a revelation. And another great, and we've talked about it, Chip and I have talked about it on the broadcast, and he says he's the Curtis McElhaney 2.0, the waiver pickup. And I really do believe that. His demeanor, how he carries himself, and he makes the save, and he doesn't give up the big rebound at the wrong time. So, and the goaltending's been, as you pointed it out, the goaltending's been good. You look at Kochetkov, you look at Martin, they're making not just, the big save, they're making the save when the Canes need it.
Yeah, and even I know there have been bad games, and he was sent to the minor leagues, but Antti Ranta has had a lot of good moments in there, and he's hurt now. Look, I don't know if you know the answer to this, and I'm not suggesting that you do. But what are the chances we see Spencer Martin tomorrow against his old mates, the Columbus Blue Jackets?
I think it's a really good chance, just because he has given this coaching staff, he's given Paul Schoenfelder, the goaltending coach, and Rod Brindamore every reason to give him starts and to give him these opportunities. And not that it's a super quick turnaround, but, you're going to play an afternoon game at home against Winnipeg on Saturday. Why not give Fyodor Kochetkov a little bit more time to come off of that win that he has the other night? You can throw Spencer Martin in, and then you can roll with Fyodor Kochetkov against Winnipeg at home. I think that it would be, honestly, a coin flip, but, I don't make the decision, but I would not be shocked. And based on practice today, they both split the starters crease, so good luck for me trying to figure it out. But I wouldn't be shocked if Spencer Martin gets to start tomorrow night.
Was Freddie on the ice?
Freddie was on the ice, still practicing, still getting closer. So still there's no definitive timetable for it. But again, that's look at the negative, and we see all the stories about what the Canes need, and every national writer goes goaltending. I'm like, I don't think goaltending is the one thing that the team needs right now, unless there's something that blows their socks off. But even then, you get Freddie back, and he, for a guy who's missed 3 months, he doesn't look like he's missed 3 months, at least in practice. So that's an encouraging thing. And then we've already talked about the other 3 goaltenders right now for this team.
I mean, look, at some point, you can't carry 4. So the decisions will be made, and we will discuss those at a later time. Mike Maniscalco is the voice of your Carolina Hurricanes, and we will be listening to him tomorrow when the Hurricanes take on the Columbus Blue Jackets from Columbus. And I'll see you Saturday afternoon up on the 5th floor.
I will see you there, Adam.
Take care, man. Thank you very much. Mike Maniscalco, the voice of your Carolina Hurricanes. When we come back, Darren Gant is standing by in Indianapolis. We have boots on the ground at the NFL's job fair next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Joe. You come here often?
Yeah, just waiting for my pills. High blood pressure and cholesterol.
Oh, that'll cost you.
I can afford it. I have NC Medicaid.
They cover prescriptions?
Yep. Doctor's visits, screenings, emergency care at low or no cost.
I tried to get it before, but I made too much.
Try again. You can earn more and still get NC Medicaid. Just go to the website.
I'm going to do that.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
The wait is almost over, North Carolina, because FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, is finally coming to us in the Old North State. It comes March 11th. And then you'll finally be able to bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports. And with FanDuel, tons of ways for you to get in on the action. You can bet on everything from the money line, who's going to win, to an over-under, total points, higher or lower, or which player is going to win that golf tournament in Georgia where they give you a jacket for winning. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Go to FanDuel.com, promo code AGS, FanDuel.com, promo code AGS, Adam Gold Show, so you can be the first to know when FanDuel goes live in North Carolina. FanDuel.com, promo code AGS. You must be 21 or older and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Availability subject to regulatory approval.
ACT Construction Equipment is proud to be your certified local Takeuchi dealer in Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Asheville, Wilmington, and Myrtle Beach. Takeuchi has long been a world leader in the compact construction industry. Let ACT Construction Equipment help you find the right machine for the job. Our full line of excavators, track loaders, and attachments are designed for low maintenance and high productivity. Stop in today for a demo or visit us online at actce.com. ACT Construction Equipment, your authorized Takeuchi dealer.
Hi, Darcy the Cow here for Black Cow, the mature manure. It's time to start getting your flower and vegetable gardens off to a great start with Black Cow. Prepare new plant beds with a 1.5-inch layer of Black Cow in the area and then mix it in with the soil 6 inches deep. Black Cow is organic. Pick up the bright yellow bag and get growing.
Black Cow, the mature manure, Black Cow.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare Savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Rural North Carolina is changing every day. At the North Carolina Rural Center, we want to give you the tools and resources you need to keep and create vibrant communities. Join us and hundreds more who share an interest in the future of North Carolina for our annual Rural Summit on March 20th and 21st. Hear from leading voices in the state and nation about what's going well in rural North Carolina and what we have left to do. Learn more about the summit and how to register at ncruralcenter.org.
This is Adam Gold.
That was a big deal to me this morning. I'm sorry if the heathens that we had on for the roundtable, Jeremy and Travis,
my people,
didn't even understand Jurgen Klopp.
It does sound different. Feels like a clogging thing. Like I should be river dancing.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. We have boots on the ground in Indianapolis. Very excited because we have the NFL's job fair in Indy, and there's no better place for a job fair, I think, than Indianapolis. And Darren Gant, Panthers.com, is there as we ask the old guy, how's it going in Indianapolis, sir?
It is delightful. I was just asking Victoria, there's a lot of dudes walking around here in quarter zips, bro hugging each other in the hallway. What's the female equivalent of the bro hug? Is there such a thing? Is it just hug?
No, I think it's it's like the Euro fake kiss. It's the cheek to cheek one side, cheek the other.
Ah, gotcha. Well, she didn't have an immediate answer. She promised me she was going to research it, and if I know anything of Victoria, it's that she's behind the scenes working hard to get to that answer.
Yes, I will get it done, Darren. You know me well.
So let's talk about what both Dan and Dave talked about. And this is not a decathlon, even though I do think it is funny that we have Dan and Dave now running the show.
Yeah, we're dating ourselves with those 1992 Olympics references.
Gosh,
great work.
And what neither of them made the Olympic team.
Details.
It was
Reebok tried.
It's a good exactly. It was a good try by Reebok. Look, there was not really a lot that they could reveal, but they did focus on the offensive line. What do you think they hope to accomplish in that regard? Not that you're going to accomplish anything at the scouting combine, but do you think that maybe and receiver are their two biggest missions there?
I think there's certainly. I mean, the Carolina Panthers are not a position where they can focus only on one position. I mean, not with where they are as a roster, not with where they are in the draft order. So I think they've got to cast a wide net. And you've just got to plan in a year like this. You've got to prepare for the whole draft and then see where you're picking in late April. Because and it's not me saying I think they're going to move here or there. You just got to be smart all the way down the board and make sure you know the whole board, because they're not in a spot, for instance, if they get to the top of round 2 or the end of round 1 on Thursday night and something's standing out on their board, be that person a middle linebacker, a pass rusher, or a guard, or a receiver. I mean, they can't really say no to any of those spots. You find the right guy, you find your highest rated guy regardless, and go forward with that. I mean, you asked about offensive line. I think one of the most telling things yesterday was just the way they dismissed out of hand the suggestion that Ike Ekwonu might somehow become a guard after spending his life playing tackle. I mean, and here's the thing, and Dan and Dave didn't say this, but this is my take on it. Could you upgrade from Ike Ekwonu? Sure, you can upgrade from just about anybody. Is there a guy available who you can afford given all the other needs on your roster right now? You know, I just think if you look at incumbent pieces and stack them up 1 through 22, you know, replacing Icky is probably not in the top 5 for me.
Oh, I totally understand. Would Brady Christensen as an every down left guard, would that make Ike Ekwonu better, you think?
It did in 2022. I mean, I just think having someone smart and stable next to Icky helps a lot. I mean, because, listen, let's be honest. You go through a year playing, 7 left guards and 8 right guards, and the tackles are going to look worse than they are because there's no continuity. You don't know who's next to you. There's no chance to communicate because you guys aren't even speaking the same language. So I just think it's whether it's Brady, whether it's think about Austin Corbett on the other side next to Taylor Moton, I just think anybody for 16 weeks would be better than last year's hash that they threw out there. So it's going to be hard not to make that position better, even if health is the only upgrade. So I think they want to bring in more guys because, listen, you're shaped by your experiences, and anybody who's adjacent to the Carolina Panthers last year is scarred by having to play so many guards. Bryce taking 62 sacks, almost breaking Steve Berline's franchise record from 2000. I mean, it's just there were so many things going wrong, and they're not going to get caught in that position again.
Darren Gann, Panthers.com, joining us from Indianapolis, boots on the ground at the NFL's job fair. It's also really a place where GMs and some coaches, the ones who bothered to go, because not all coaches go, they're also making contacts about potential trades. We have not seen a franchise tag placed on Brian Burns, at least I haven't as of yet. Where are the Panthers with the pursuit of a long-term deal with Burns or potentially relocation?
They're working on it. I mean, they're working on talking to him. I mean, they've had some meetings with his agent while they're here. Those conversations will doubtless continue. But, I mean, if they can't come up with something between now and March 5th, which is next Tuesday, if they don't come up with something between now and the 5th, they'll tag him. I mean, that's just the smart thing to do. And there's because it preserves your options. It gives you the opportunity to either do a long-term deal with him before July 15th, keep him for the year on that number and run it back again the following year if you want to do it that way, or try to find value otherwise. And listen, Brian is a guy who has value to more teams than the Carolina Panthers. So if they get in a spot where you can't do a deal, then you would be forced, I guess, to move him. And if they do, they're going to get good value because he's 25 years old and he has 46 sacks. And he's at that sweet spot. I mean, a lot of times in free agency, you're buying old guys and over-the-hill guys and guys who are on the downsides of career. It's reasonable to suggest that Brian Burns has still got 5 years of exceptional football in front of him.
At what point do they have to when does the period end where you have to tag him?
March 5th.
March
5th. Next Tuesday is the deadline to tag him. That gives you about a week in advance of free agency to make other plans and know what you're dealing with going in. And listen, if you tag Brian, that's $22 million. That's a big number sitting against the cap. They've got a good amount of space. They're in the upper third of the league in terms of cap space available without restructuring any contracts or cutting anybody or doing anything like that. So they're in good position. Obviously, if you tag Brian, that's a big number sitting there like a rock on your cap. And, it limits some of your flexibility, but it by no means takes them out of the market for some of the stuff they want to do.
Darren Gant, Panthers.com, joining us from Indianapolis. There was a story yesterday where none of the running backs are going to get tagged. Saquon Barkley not getting tagged, Josh Jacobs not getting tagged, Tony Pollard not getting tagged. They're all basically free to negotiate with other teams. Was there anybody on that list that was intriguing to you? For me, A.J. Dillon kind of jumped out.
There's a lot of names on that list that are intriguing to me. I mean, and when you think about it, the Carolina Panthers are starting Chuba Hubbard at running back. And there's nothing against Chuba. Chuba ran hard last year and kind of created a job for himself where he entered the year as a backup. And, I think he's a physical runner. He's not the most explosive guy, but he runs hard and he converts things. I mean, he's a pretty good running back, but it's possible to upgrade there. And, I mean, if you start talking about the difference between Saquon Barkley and Chuba Hubbard, it's significant. So I think it's a possibility. I think that's going to be one of those markets that's fascinating for me in free agency just because it's obvious that everybody decided all at once, we don't want to get in this business. We don't want to, overpay these guys. And did the Panthers overpay last year for Miles Sanders? I guess. Sure. Yeah. There's not really any arguing that. So I would be surprised if they got in at the top of the market. But if that thing starts creating value with some of these dudes falling through the cracks after one or two of them get a deal, then I could see that.
Oh, and I would absolutely be on board with, you don't do it right away because you're going to pay a higher price. But you wait, you wait a month or so, and there's a bunch of guys left, and you go, okay,
Right.
Like, I think A.J. Dillon is.
That being said, I'm pro running back. I still think that position has a ton of value to a team, if not the market in dollars and cents, because you got to run. And Dave Canales talked about that yesterday. He said, last year in Tampa, they were stubborn about running. They didn't run it particularly efficiently, but over the course of the year, they got better at it, and they won a division, won a playoff game. So I think you can be an effective running team without having an elite back. But if you look at what San Francisco did this year, you got a Christian McCaffrey, you got a chance.
Yeah, well, McCaffrey, I think we all agree. McCaffrey's the outlier, right? He's the guy that, I understand after he got the contract from Carolina that he got hurt for 2 years in a row. But we all see what he is now. He's the outlier in that, just like LaDainian Tomlinson or Barry Sanders or even a Derrick Henry, because he's been around for such a long time now.
Right.
These guys are outliers. But for the most part, it's funny how people talk about it. They talk about running backs don't matter anymore. Well, there's two things at work here. The running back matters. It's who the running back is doesn't matter as much because of the drop-off that happens 4 or 5 years, except when we're talking about those guys. And Christian McCaffrey is one of those. But for the most part, all of these guys ultimately become disposable.
Well, I mean, that's the NFL.
Right.
You know, that's also radio and newspapers, too, isn't it? We're all disposable.
100%. I'm trying to reinvent myself.
This turned dark in a hurry. I don't know what happened. We started out talking about bro hugs, and here we are staring into the abyss, and it's staring right back.
Darren Gant, Panthers.com is joining us here. If you had to identify a spot on the defensive side of the ball where Carolina must get better, where is it?
Pass rusher. I mean, that's the job. I mean, and that's with or without Brian Burns. I mean, if it's without Brian Burns, if they end up tagging him or trading him or something like that, then you got to go get two of them. You need to go get another one even with Brian. I go back. This defense in its purest form is a lot like what Dom Capers was coaching in 1995. And a 3-4 defense that's built this way needs that second one to maximize the first one's talent. If you think back to 95, Lamar Lathan was pretty good.
Yeah.
Lamar Lathan was great when he had Kevin Green on the other side instead of Darian Connor. So that second one makes a huge difference. And you saw they gave it a shot with Justin Houston last year, and he was not as advertised. He didn't have anything left in the tank and didn't play a whole lot of football and didn't play good football when he was on the field. But that's the point. I mean, they got to get a second one over there on the other side. Now, Heitor Gross-Matos played well last year when he was on the field. It was unfortunate that he was hurt and missed 6 games because he would have created a pretty good market for himself with the way he played. I think he's a possibility. Maybe you bring him back, but you still need to supplement that position because Brian on his own can be doubled, can be chipped. People can slide to him and all that stuff. There's got to be somebody on the other side to make people pay for that. And I just think you've got to – I think also with the stabilization on offense, and Dave talked about that a lot, it's not like he's trying to fix Bryce. He's just trying to raise the level across the board, you know, get everything from the bottom to the middle and see how much better Brian Burns is at pass rushing. Oh, you've got a chance to play with a lead in a fourth quarter once this year, which they didn't do at all last season. You think his numbers would have been better? I think they would have been better.
Yeah, they might have been. There's no like I don't know that there's ever been right.
He didn't play a second in a fourth quarter with a lead. I mean, he was never under duress. There was never a moment where the other team had to throw to catch up. So, I mean, that limited Brian's chances to do what Brian's best at.
Darren Gant, Panthers.com, boots on the ground in Indianapolis, the NFL's job fair. I look forward to the athletic part of the competition. The swimsuit competition is coming up. I appreciate your time always, sir. We'll talk to you again.
Sounds good. See y'all.
Take care, Darren Gant, Panthers.com. We can ask the old guy all the time. Gosh, yeah, we went from bro hugs to staring into the abyss.
Yeah, we
Although Darren was the one who brought that up.
He did.
So nobody has reinvented himself better than Darren Gant. He is just absolutely outstanding. All right, let's get into a rewind. All right, we'll go back to our conversation with Chip Patterson because I think these things, and I do want you also to hear, gosh, we have so many things we'd like to hear, right? We've got Scott Van Pelt from last night.
Yeah.
I want you to hear that because I think it speaks to the stuff we've been talking about with regards to, it's not really about the ACC. It's about how you can game the system when you shouldn't be able to game the system, when we rely just on math at times, how you can game the system. We'll do that in a minute. But first, college football. They are going to expand to at least to 14, I think to 16. But the reality of the situation is that there is no contract for a playoff beyond 2 seasons from now. We know we're going to have 12 teams this year. We know we're going to have 12 teams next year. And we know there's going to be 5 automatic qualifiers and 7 at-large teams. Beyond that, as I talked to Chip Patterson about, it's going to be whatever the Big Ten and the SEC want it to look like. That's the reality. They don't care about anything else other than what's good for them.
I think it's too early. I think that we are currently in the process of looking at what the college football playoff is going to be from 2026 to beyond to know exactly which of these things will be true. Because yes, flatly, the SEC and the Big Ten are going to dominate. The SEC and the Big Ten might also look different in 2026 than they look in 2024.
Sure.
A big thing I've gotten out of the last 7-10 days or so is just the underlying bubbling of another wave of conference realignment.
No question about it.
For the SEC and the Big Ten. So when you're making these decisions about the makeup and the revenue distribution of the college football playoff from 2026 to 2032, if you believe that these conferences, the SEC and the Big Ten, are going to be more valuable because of additions that they're going to have to the conference, then that's going to go into their negotiations and the way that they're looking at things. But what you're pointing out is that at the meeting, the board of managers, which apparently is different than the working group, which is apparently different than the AFCA, the FCC, the CAA, and I don't know, it's alphabet soup to me. But the power brokers of the sport come out from these meetings and they say, yeah, we talked about 14. Yeah, we talked about 16. Yeah, we talked about potential guaranteed bids, multiples of them specifically for a conference. And that's what you're referencing here.
Yes.
Here is my translation of where we're at. The SEC and the Big Ten want to make sure that because they believe they will have all of the brands that are worth a damn in the new college football playoff era, that they will be compensated as such from the television contract with the revenue distribution. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can sign a contract that says right off the bat, we are going to get a big chunk, and everybody else, which includes the ACC and the Big 12, as well as the Sun Belt and the Mountain West, y'all can deal with it. That's very similar to what we have with the 4-team model, where the Power 5 conference distributed about 80% of the money that was generated, and the other conferences shared the crumbs from the other 20%.
Yep.
The other way you can do it is to game the system with a wink and a nod, which is to say, we are going to guarantee spots in the college football playoff for our conference, but the revenue, this is just all going to be a meritocracy. However many teams you get in and however many wins they get, that will dictate what the payouts are, which of course you are loading the dice if you set it up with automatic qualifiers specifically for that conference. The expansion to 14, to me, is built with the idea that the SEC and the Big Ten are guaranteed extra spots beyond just a one conference champion. The expansion to 16 might be something that happens so that the ACC, the Big 12, and then the group of 5 don't see all of their spots getting gobbled up by these automatic qualifiers. I know this seems confusing, but just understand that all these reports you're hearing are the negotiations. This is what they are fighting over. The SEC and the Big Ten, at the end of the day, want to make sure that they have more teams in and that they've got more money coming their way from the deal. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. Everybody else, you can guarantee us spots or you can guarantee us the paycheck. But either way, we want to make sure that because we're the leagues with all the tiny helmets that people tune in to see, that we end up making a good portion of the deal.
Yep. It's all about keeping as much money. It's college athletics in a nutshell. And I am not suggesting that those two leagues should look out for everybody else. Just like I'm not suggesting that in big business, Walmart shouldn't look out for the mom and pop hardware store or the whatever. I'm not saying that they should, but that's what it's becoming. So as long as everybody understands where we're headed, because that's where we're headed, we are headed for just two leagues. And I hope that your favorite school is part of one of those two leagues, because we are not far from those being the only ones that matter. Flat out, the only ones that matter. All right, Peyton Wilson, we're going to have to set aside the Scott Van Pelt because I want you to hear it in its entirety, and we're really out of time for it. Peyton Wilson, NC State linebacker, is at the Combine. And it was funny, as I was talking to Darren Gant, it reminded me of what Peyton was asked about. Because the NFL is cycling through linebackers just like they cycle through running backs. It has become a position that has been financially devalued. But you can't, if you don't have a good linebacker in the middle of the field, Fred Warren, then you're kind of in trouble. And so Wilson was asked about that.
I mean, I think the linebacker is the quarterback of a defense. You know, we have to know what's going on. We have to be in the pass game. We have to be in the run game. And I think it's literally one of the most important positions on the field. In today's culture, I mean, you have to be a linebacker that can be in the pass game as well as defend the run. So I think the versatility that we have to bring to this position, I mean, I don't think it's going anywhere for a long time.
How much responsibility you had at NC State in regards to what you just said?
Yeah, I mean, in the past, we had a lot of older guys that we all split it up, but this year I think a lot of it weighed on me, if not all of it. And, you know, it was really important for me this year to turn into that vocal leader and becoming, you know, just kind of the face of the program. You know, I'm a little shy, you know, from a country area, so I'm not used to it, but just getting out there this year and being the face, it was really cool for me, and, you know, just praise the Lord for that.
How cute.
Peyton, look, if Peyton Wilson didn't have like a checkered, we'll use that term, medical history, right? If he didn't have several like surgeries in his past, I mean, he might be a first-round pick. He's that kind of athlete. But he won't be. He'll be a day 2 pick. I think he'll be picked somewhere in the 3rd round. And I think he'll start in the NFL. I mean, as long as he stays healthy, I think he'll start in the league. Unfortunately, he'll have probably what amounts to a 3-year career, a 4-year career, because this is the way the league runs through linebackers and the interior linebackers and the way the league runs through running backs. It's very similar. It's really hard to get a second contract the way it currently works. All right, we got to get out of here. Victoria, thank you very much. Bomani Jones will join us tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but you know, Bo, we'll have some fun. I promise you that. See you, everybody.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Get ready, North